Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. It's nice to see you here. Good morning, my loves. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well this beautiful, happy Tuesday morning. Or is it? Or is it? We got some problems that might be going on, but I think I might have figured out what is going on with what we're hearing. I know that since I stopped yesterday, I didn't end up doing a live last night, so it's because there were some information. I'm trying to figure out heads and tails of what's going on because, let's face it, we did believe that baby Emmanuel was found. We were hopeful when we ended our show on Sunday evening, and then we find out that's not true. We come back here Monday morning, we try to make heads or tails of it, and nothing really has panned out. And then by yesterday afternoon, we're starting to hear rumbles that it's possible Jake and Rebecca might be released from jail. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm don't know. Because there's some, and again, I'm going to be showing you guys the professionals, the people that do this, giving you their assessment of what's going on. Because let's face it, we're not out in this area. We're not people that are prosecutors. We don't have this case. We don't see the evidence that is being presented to law or to the state attorney from law enforcement. So we just don't know what's really going on here. And I have to say that when I started this out this morning, I was doing some research. It's making me nervous. I usually don't express those on here. Usually I'm very thankful. We've been, attaboying San Bernardino, California. But you know what? I don't think it's all for nothing. And we're going to go through this case. I'm going to start with the meat and potatoes first, and then we're going to get into some of the other background stuff that I think that is interesting that you guys may want to know. So I brought a bunch of stuff to present to you guys this morning. But at the end of the day, we've got a major, major issue here. What is going on? Are these people going to walk? I think that is our conversation. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to express why before you guys get all worried and too much into this. My standpoint is let's wait and see what happens. But I really, I if they walk, there is a strategy here. And I believe that. And I believe that it wasn't the strategy for them to walk. But if that is the case and that really is on the table, then I do have a theory that we're going to also go over. So we're going to be talking about the factual information that we know to be true. We're going to be talking about theories, and we're going to speculate just a little bit. But right now, we need to give you guys a dose of truth. So let's go over some some articles. Let's just get kind of familiarized with what's going on here. Let's have a quick conversation, and then I'll bring up some more documentation to show you why I'm kind of like thinking maybe this is being blown out of proportion. And, mainstream media, they got to get their they do click, like people are always, dogging social media, but let's be honest, where did social media begin to learn how to do taglines and stuff like that, and what draws the audience in? Well, we learned that from mainstream media because they've been doing it for years, and if it's not broke, don't fix it, just replicate it. So could that be part of that? Is it possible that they are blowing this out of proportion, maybe to keep this story alive? Or is this really a serious matter? I can tell you it's both. Okay, this is a serious matter, and I believe that, there is some nuances here that we have to consider, okay, as to why this is being questioned. So without further ado, we're going to get on to a USA Today article. I'm not going to play the video, but we are going to do the article. And in this article, I believe they're going to be talking about some of the issues that we are dealing with right now with this case, specifically for this case. So officials in California are continuing to search for 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro days after charging his parents with murder in his disappearance. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies arrested Jake and Rebecca Haro. Now, I want you guys, I'm not going to be able to look at your comments right now while I'm doing this this article, so please, tell each other good morning, communicate about this in chat, but I need you guys to pay attention. It was San Bernardino, California, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies that made the arrest. This is going to be pivotal in our discussions on, them not being officially charged yet. And there's reasons why they're not officially charged yet. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that they have not found the baby yet. Okay, I just want to be clear on that. It's just my opinion. Again, we're going to be listening to a whole bunch. I've got Strategic Eyes up here. That's, he's the active detective. His opinion on it. I've got Pascal up here, his opinion on it, the CBS that Pascal's going to show, because I couldn't find the CBS article, so I have to use Pascal's clip to show you what I want to show you. So we've got a lot of people, and then we're going to round it off with Brian Enton. Now, Brian Enton just dropped a video today. You guys know how much I love Brian Enton. I support him. I'm not taking his entire show. If you guys want to see what he has to say, please go over to his channel and watch it. We'll discuss it in length, maybe go over it step by step at a later date. But with it just being dropped just today, I think everybody needs to go over and watch it in its entirety. However, there are some things that are relevant to my show this morning, so I'm going to be stealing a few things under fair use. As many of you guys know, I love Brian to death. I don't see him coming after me by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm sure he would call me before he did that. But long story short, is we're going to take a few little nuggets, because he's got a retired Riverside County DA. She's retired. So this is right from the community. As you notice, I just said San Bernardino County Sheriff, and I'm just talking about Riverside County DA. I told you that you guys need to pay attention to those things, because I think that's part of the reason why we are here this morning. For many of you, you don't know, San Bernardino's the one that made the arrest. San Bernardino's the one that, bulldozed down their front gate and put them under arrest. However, I think the jurisdiction of this case, this homicide case, resides in Riverside. So I think that might be what's causing all this, because we went from a San Bernardino DA that was working with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Office, and so they were assisting the Sheriff's Office in making the arrest. Well, now it's going to a different DA that may have, different criteria than the DA from San Bernardino. So the DA in Riverside has to review the charges and either agree with the charges, reduce the charges, or increase the charges based on the overwhelming evidence that has been provided. So I think just me spitballing here, I think the moving from one county to the other is what is causing this issue, because one DA may be confident in a case while the other DA may not, because you're dealing with two totally different DAs. It's same law, but you got to understand, what is the DA's expertise? Are they comfortable with, no body crimes, those types of things, where San Bernardino may have, worked it enough that they are more comfortable with a no-body case. So I think that this is, do we have a crystal ball? Are these people going to be let out? I certainly hope not. Okay, I certainly hope not. But if it does happen, I'm still not angry with San Bernardino, and we're going to get involved. We're going to get into that conversation as well. I know there's a lot of conversations we're about to have, but this is kind of a convoluted situation, and I've got to try to take the convoluted out of it so you guys can understand what's going on, at least from my perspective, looking in. Now, I'm not you guys know, I do not work with law enforcement. I have never been retired law enforcement. I am not a DA. I have not worked in a prosecutor's office. I have not worked in a public defender's office. I worked in private practice under attorneys when I worked in the field of law. Okay? And most of my my upbringing in law is wills, trusts, estates, bankruptcies, and civil actions, and civil litigation. That is more in my realm. But I do have an understanding of, when I read the laws, what I'm truly reading, and I do have an understanding of case law. So that's been helping me guide me through the criminal stuff. I feel like now that I've been doing this for 5 years, I'm more fluent in criminal law than I am. I can't do civil law anymore. I don't do as well as I once did. I forget everything, right? It's been a decade. So I forget a lot. But This stuff, you know, the probative stuff, the stuff that will not be accepted into a trial of this magnitude. You know, we have a common understanding of, you know, prejudice versus probative, and those are the things that we try to educate our audience on. Am I an expert? Of course not. You know why? I go to the experts, right? If we have questions, we go to the people that have stuff on here. If we have questions whether somebody's being deceptive, we go over to the deceptive guy. If we find out we need some body language, we go to the body language folks, you know? We don't have to be a master of all. We just have to have common sense and have the passion to dig deep to find the answers. That's what we're here for. So many of you guys know that baby Emmanuel has been reportedly abducted by his mother, not by his mother, but reported by his mother as being abducted on August 14th. What we are learning is this child doesn't appear to have been seen by any third party for the entire month of August. And it may even go all the way back to the beginning of you know, middle to beginning of July, when he truly, because I'm hearing 30 days or more in the background. Now, again, this is all speculative. I've got nothing to hold in, and I don't want you guys using that as a factual statement, because it may not have been. It very well could have been that he was abused way back on the third or fifth or whenever she started exhibiting the black eye, but he didn't lose his life until days later, a week later or something like that, or succumb to his injuries. I do too, hot damn. I do too. It's tough here. Who else do we have? We got somebody else here. I forgot. I missed. Oh, thank you, Nitwit. Oh, it's nice to see you, Nitwit. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping me get to my goal. I appreciate it. I do too. Without a doubt, hot damn. I believe that they should be in jail. I don't know. You know, we've seen this before where this happened. If you guys don't believe me, go again. We were talking about Brooks Houck and Crystal Rogers, you know, in some aspect of this case already. That happened in Crystal Rogers' case. Brooks Houck was charged with her murder and brought up on homicide charges. And they had to drop those charges so prejudice didn't attach because they were not ready yet. And that happened, I believe, like within the first, sorry guys, it's pouring down rain here in my community, so you're going to hear thunder and lightning rolling through. So if it's going through my microphone and you're wondering, what is that noise behind me? It is literally pouring down rain outside. Thunder, lightning. It's a Florida thunderstorm, folks. So if we have some technical issues, it might be my internet needs to come back up. You know, I have no crystal ball with the weather today, okay? Usually Florida's tight with the rainy season, so I don't expect to have too many issues, but you just never know. You just never know. So we're finding out that the San Bernardino arrested. Now we're hearing about Riverside County Prosecutor's Office. Oh, thank you, GE girl. It's nice to see you, Hobo's mom, Rod. Me and you. It's nice to see you, Neuro. Hello, my loves. Hello. I think that's the issue. And I think they're blowing it out of proportion. I think they're going to be charged with something, okay? I mean, this child's face was disfigured. If nothing more, they can absolutely prove child abuse, in my opinion. Child abuse, child neglect, failing to take the child to a doctor. You know, I think there's stuff here. But if this doesn't happen, I'm still not going to be mad. I'm a little concerned, but we're going to get into why I'm not going to be mad with San Bernardino. If this truly comes out where they do walk, I kind of see something. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Watching from, is that the UK or is that Britain? I'm sorry. No. I think it's the British flag. Bullhorn Betty is not smarter than a 5th grader, folks. So if you're expecting Bullhorn Betty to be smarter than a 5th grader and know our geography, I failed, okay? I am a failure in that realm. I'm ignorant. I love the world. I just don't pay attention to it as much as I should. Thank you. What is that? Danny, it's nice to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we know that. So Rebecca Haro, the boy's mother, initially told authorities that the infant had been kidnapped on August 14th outside the store nearby Yucaipa, in the Yucaipa. They're about 20 minutes away from their homestead. Investigators determined the kidnapping never occurred. Now, Karen, thank you, UK. Okay. Thank you for the help, my chat. Thank you. Much love from me to you, okay? You guys get to see my shortcomings like literally live every day. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Thank you for clarifying. And so sorry. And thank you, beautiful people from across the pond that are here, supporting our beautiful baby boy. I pray to God that you guys aren't dealing with this. At the end of the day, gee, he's laughing at me. At the end of the day, we do appreciate everybody. In many of these cases, we don't know where these children are, and they could be literally living next door to you guys on the half of the other, across our big pond, right? We don't know, because this stuff is becoming international. This is becoming a disgusting environment that I want to help be part of putting it into. And I know that everybody out here does. We're sick and tired of seeing these cases, not just the children's cases. The kids' cases really get to us in a different type of emotional way than any other case. It's the babies. The babies get to us. But it's all the crime. I mean, we should be able to live freely. And you should be able, I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning. I don't care if you're falling over drunk. I don't care if you're putting yourself into a horrible situation. You should be able to do that, right? You should be able to do that in a civilized country and not have to worry about violence or something happening to you, or you winding up in a river and everybody says, oh, she must have just got drunk and drowned. Well, where's her wallet? I don't know. Must have floated away. Huh. What's that brew? I don't know. She must have fell into something. Huh. Okay. Right? So we're all here because we're tired. We're just tired. We're tired of these cases. We want to expose these things. We want to change laws. We want to do so much. And I can tell you, we're going to work our entire lifetimes. And if we can just move the needle a little bit, we are successful. And just getting that needle to move a little bit is what irritates the snot out of me. I still got a line on my chat box. Hold on a second. That line's going to drive me crazy. That line is going to drive me let me hit my button. Ever so crazy. Let's get that line out of there. Is that line gone? I think the line is gone. Okay, sorry. There's just some things that bother me. I noticed the other day I had a line straight through my mouth, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I realized it's the chat box. I forgot to modify it so that the box is out of it. So it's just nice, clear overlay. So what's going to happen on August 26th? We're hearing that they're scheduled to appear. I think what happened is because the kidnapping situation happened in Yucaipa, I'm pretty sure the San Bernardino, California caught the case because the abduction story or complaint, affidavit was taken in San Bernardino area. But what happened is San Bernardino went into their house, bulldozed their blessed house over, and realized, that the house itself is the crime scene. And that the crime scene is, 20 some miles away from the original report. So that whole entire case file now has to be changed from San Bernardino over to Riverside to be prosecuted. And now Riverside detectives, homicide unit, whatever they've got over there, is going to be the one that has to take the file from San Bernardino, get themselves in the know real quick, and then determine, did they do a good job, and does this rise to the level of Riverside bringing these charges forward? Now, that may be where Riverside DA says, I'm not comfortable with this, folks. I appreciate all your hard work, but we're missing something. Maybe I can hold off, but we're going to need this. So you need to find this. Let me see what I can do. We don't know. They have a choice right now, because remember when we talked about them charging these people with PC 187, we went through the California Penal Code and we read it verbatim here. And the one thing that we found out is that this PC 187 charge is basically malice murder, but it could go one of two ways. It could be malice murder, first degree, second degree, or manslaughter. So it's kind of this umbrella, if you will, to charge somebody without making a definitive determination on how that case is going to proceed. And that's at least my understanding of this. So I do believe, based on the fact, well, Strategic Eyes brought up a valid point, and we're going to get to his conversation, and we're going to backtrack to this statement I'm about to make. But Strategic Eyes made a statement that DNA does not get processed this week. Even when he tries to rush things, it could take up to 2 weeks. Well, we here have experienced other such evidence gathering and immediate results. Not immediates per se, but Brian Koberger is a prime example. They were able to have the DNA back within 24 hours. So there are some cases where you do have those federal partners that rush this stuff to lab. And I'm praying to God that was the case, because like I said, in order for them to bring these charges, we went through the process of what they would need in order to bring these charges without a body. And that is, they have to find the area of blood. They have to take that Q-tip, dip it in what they see as a red substance, rub it in, put the solution on it, confirm that that is presumptive human DNA. Then they have to cut the area out, because they're not the people in the labs that do this. So they have to take whatever they find, the evidence they find. It's not the responsibility of the detectives to analyze their evidence. It's the responsibility of the lab to analyze the evidence appropriately in a sanitized and sterile environment and provide those results to law enforcement. So they only collect. They have policies and procedures, crime scene units for proper collection to limit contamination. And so we learned earlier in the week, before these arrests happened, several days, at least 3 days, I believe, 2 or 3 days. Let me just give myself a window. 48 hours to 72 hours to 48 hours. They were in that house. We heard from the attorneys. We ran the story that they were digging the property up. It wasn't until another day or two later that, after everybody had 24 hours to say, no, they're not digging the property up, then the attorney comes out and says that not only did they dig portions, spot on one side of their property, they also removed the flooring. This was days before they were arrested. So that's why I believe, in my opinion, that they did collect the wood. The wood did go down. They do have the babies, I'm sure, during their execution. I'm sure. Well, let's look at it like this. One of the first things when the abduction happened that they're going to collect is they're going to ask mommy and daddy, do you have a strand of hair? Will you be willing to give us your DNA so we can compare it to the baby's DNA if we find them? They usually do some of those collections up front, especially when they believe this child is abducted. They may go ahead and collect DNA profile for that child while the parents are cooperative, acting, because at the end of the day, law enforcement doesn't automatically say, oh, you said your child was abducted, we don't believe you. They absolutely believe them and jump into action, bring out the dog, start doing the search, and then they start realizing, wait a minute, the things that we're used to seeing here aren't here. So now they're going back and questioning them, and the story's slightly changing, and now they're like, okay, something's not right here. We're not picking up the scent. Let's start canvassing the area. Then they start coming back and saying, we got a shot. We just looked at a video. There was nobody there. She just fell to the ground, stayed there for a second, got up, dusted herself off, and ran into the store. And that's really, really bad. And it sounds to me like they truly have caught that on camera. They caught her trying to stage this scene, and they could absolutely see nobody was around. And even thank you, Phil, God bless you. Even well, we'll pause right there. Let me get back to this article, and maybe I'll recollect my thoughts. So we know that she reported the child as abducted. That she, I want you guys to see this photo here, because this is an important photo. This is an important photo. She's wearing makeup on her other eye. She has a double black eye. She has the black eye that's more noticeable and the one that isn't noticeable. But when she goes in to get her mugshot, you can clearly see the second full black eye that's in a healing stage. She is literally going out of her way to wear makeup. And look how well she is able to cover up that. And that's going to be important, because many people are trying to speculate that she did not have a black eye at the funeral. And I disagree, because those marks covered up, we definitely seen those little bags, that little line under her eye, a lot further down than where it is. And I'm talking about this area right here. This area right here. This right here, when we saw videos of makeups, that line, this little crease right here, was actually further down on her cheek in her makeup. And it's because she was covering it up, and of course it's dark, so it's going to look like a crease versus a black eye. And just like what it looks like right here, it looks more like a bag or a crease as opposed to a black eye. But whenever we take away this, let me find the right... Is it this one? I think it's going to be this one. Let me take this off. Yep. Nope, this is not her mugshot. Where's her mugshot? Oh, did I replace it? Maybe it's on my intro. No, I don't have the mugshots on these. It's on the other one. It's probably on my, one of my photos, but you can see the mugshot. I don't have one available just at this moment with her in a mugshot, but you can really see, I mean, the mugshot photo, you can really see the other eye. So she's literally wearing makeup to sell the one black eye story when she truly has two black eyes. That doesn't make sense, but we all knew that. Our audience told us that. So I just thought that was interesting. Law enforcement obviously doesn't believe them. We absolutely know that Jake was out there seen on the property assisting the San Bernardino, California, or the sheriff's department. Now, again, I'm still a little confused, because San Bernardino sheriffs are still kind of doing the searches and stuff like that, maybe because they're in their area, as you guys can see here. Let me see if I can go back up here. It's showing it right there. Let's just see the video. We can watch the video. Hold on. There he is. So a lot of people, and I have to, oh, you guys can't see it. Sorry, I forgot to put it up. Oh, good gracious, this system. We'll get it. What you're going to see is that the father appears to be cooperating. We don't know why he's out there, but we do have some answers. I believe he offered to go out there. I'm very, very concerned. You know, we knew that this was going to happen. Let's face it. We knew that he was going to try and attempt to throw Rebecca under the bus. We knew that. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about whether they were going to throw
Rebecca was seen out with investigators
under the bus.
NBC4's Karma Dickinson live near the family's home in Cabazon with an update now on the search. Karma?
Hi there behind me. You can see how the community has really responded to this news that little baby is now presumed dead. He has not yet been found, but in just the last week, the memorial, the outpouring of support for him has...
I want you guys to pay attention to that, because these kids matter to strangers. And it's so upsetting, because their parents are supposed to love them more than the rest of us. And in so many of these cases, it seems like it's the strangers, the publics, the public people, the community that never met this child or victim that seems to care more And that is truly hard. Thank you, Jex. It's nice to see you. Welcome. For those that don't know, in our chat, we require subscriptions. It's free of charge. It's a way that we control our chat, control the people that wreak havoc in some of these chats that we see online. And we're just not going to deal with people abusing you or me in our chat. So if you guys would like to communicate about these cases, you're more than welcome to. Again, free of charge. Subscribe to the channel, and within 20 minutes, you'll be able to speak with the rest of the coffee club and, kind of chat about your theories in the chat and other pertinent things related to the cases that we're covering.
It's really just grown exponentially with so many people in the community asking that one central question: where is baby Emmanuel? The search for now presumed dead baby Emmanuel Haro spans across county lines. This weekend, authorities searched for him along the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley.
Look at that off-road, and I didn't realize they had off-roads like that, where it's like right off an interstate and you clearly see a path to drive down where nobody will see you. That was so Audrey Cunningham. That's exactly what Steve McDougal did. He ended up, there was a road, like a highway, and there were little dirt paths that came off those highways that went up under the overpass, and you can't see squat there. You can't see squat. You can do whatever. It's private. It's off the beaten path. Nobody. It's a fire access. I'm sure it is. I'm absolutely sure it is. But this was a service road for the, the freeway for Audrey Cunningham. And but those are things, and I point those out because those are things I'm looking for. When you guys see me out in the field and I'm searching, I'm looking for things like that, because all too many times these people, like, I'm coming into communities that I have never been in before. I don't know where their nooks and crannies are, but these people, thank you, Momo. That's exactly what it was for Audrey Cunningham too. So these service accesses, guys, are I've seen them used in covering up crimes before. So seeing this and seeing them in this area, is he playing them for a fool? Is he saying, Rebecca did all this? Because he set Rebecca up. Like, he set her up good, guys. She's the one calling in the abduction. She's the one going into the stores trying to get the power equipment. She's the one that's being forced to push the stroller in the middle of the night trying to find places. He wasn't with the stroller. She was. He was just standing by. He incorporated her in every bit of this, every aspect of this, and I believe he did that intentionally. But again, this is why you don't stand by your man when you're in a situation like this. Because that man's about to railroad her. We've been saying this since we learned about Vanessa and the story. And even then, it wasn't until his follow-up interviews that I realized how shady he was. He's gonna rail. I don't think the prosecutors, I don't think anybody, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're probably going to present it to her just like I'm going to lay it down for y'all. They're probably going to go in there and say, look, all the evidence is stacked against you. Not him. And he's saying you did it. She might be screwed. I mean, even though they know she's not the one, if she's going to keep her mouth shut, they'll take her down. And they will take only her down if she wants to go down that path. And they sure will. And she did it to herself, and she'll have nobody to blame, even though she was not the culprit. It was that animal that she calls a husband. But she's standing by her man while he's throwing her under the bus. And I pray to God that they're taking this stuff to her and showing him. He's cooperating with us. He's saying you're responsible, that you did it. You're the one in these stores asking for all this stuff. You're the one calling in the abduction after you leave him at the park. I hope they really get into her head and mind F the crap out of her, because she needs it to save herself. She is so stupid that she can't even save herself. Yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if it's going to be live streamed or not. I don't know if anybody's got approval.
Cadaver dogs, and in a bright orange jumpsuit, Jake Haro. the baby's father.
Experience when somebody is being let out and being escorted to a particular area to look for a body who has been unaccounted for and they believe is a victim of a murder.
Thank you.
That tells me that the person is sharing enough information.
It has been 11 days since Emmanuel Haro's parents say he was kidnapped from the Big Five store in Yucaipa. Shortly thereafter, investigators with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department say his mother stopped cooperating. Moses Castillo is a former LAPD detective with 20 years of experience investigating crimes against children. He's not a part of this case, but weighed in on where he thinks the investigation will likely go from here.
This is interesting.
You're going to see a more thorough search, a more methodical search by the coroner's office. And
I believe, because I heard rumors that they were back out there yesterday doing additional searching. That's what I heard. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. She even said she knew who he was when she got with him. I know, that's sick, isn't it? Isn't it? It's sick. She's a sandwich short of a picnic for sure. Yeah, and we're all watching this freight train, smacking into a concrete brick wall. It's just... I hope they work with her because we know who the culprit is. We need the right people. They both need to go in, but if she got a lesser sentence than him, I'm not going to be screaming bloody murder, because I think she should be punished for what she did, but she did not take this child out, and she's just still sitting there. And you know what? Think about this, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. We know that this guy is an animal. He's an animal. I truly think she is absolutely terrified of him. Even now. I mean, I would be. If I was in this situation and I saw it, I would hope to God that I would do the right thing, like many of you beautiful moms that had to make the decision. But, this guy, he's lethal. We don't know what she has seen him do. I'm angry with the situation. I'm angry with how she failed to protect her kids, and I want her to pay the consequences for that. But I think it would be truly a miscarriage of justice if she got more time than him. That's the point I'm making. He's absolutely throwing her under the bus, me and you. He is absolutely throwing her under the bus. She's screaming in jail saying that her child was abducted and he's out there trying to show them where they can find a body. I mean, he is absolutely throwing her under the bus. We absolutely thought she would break before him, but this was all his big grand scheme anyways, because he's done it before. He knows the script to this story. He's done this before. We have to remember, this is her first rodeo. He's been successful at almost, unaliving a child and getting away with it. She's not. She's not. Yeah, Betty, Court TV, I agree with that. Court TV is on it. Court TV is absolutely on it. Thank you, Stephanie. Why is this thing not clicking? There we go. Oh, wrong one. It went up on me. Where? Okay, well, we're having some technical difficulties with our chat at the moment. There we go. I don't know what that was. Stephanie, thank you. The chat is not wanting to be very... I don't know what's going on with the chat. It's just sticking all over the place today. And it might be because of the internet issues I'm having, but it's sticking him throwing her under the bus. That's a cons... Isn't that considered a confession? It would be considered a confession, sandwich. Yeah, I feel like there is a part of a confession in here, but I don't believe, but this is the problem. I don't believe that, I don't believe he's confessing, I guess, is like, I believe he's singing. I believe he's confessing, but not for himself. I think he's confessing for Rebecca because he's just shady like that. He's a freaking snake. Okay, Jake the Snake. Okay, truly fitting for his name. It truly is.
The detectives, and they're going to have all hands on deck, and they're going to scour that area square by square to make sure they don't miss anything.
Last week, the baby's parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, were arrested on suspicion of murder. However, they have not yet been charged. both Riverside
That
and San
child
Bernardino.
looks terrified in that photo. Terrified. And under his arms, there's bruising. And when I blew it up, it looked like fingerprints, at least 2. Somebody snatched that boy up. You want to know why he's got that face? Because he's terrified of his parents. That's why.
Bernardino
Sick.
County District Attorney's offices are currently evaluating this case.
Look at that beautiful
The fact
baby.
charges.
Look at that beautiful baby. That's when the baby was happy. That was before the abuse. That was before the disfigurement of this child's face. This child was beautiful. He was perfect. He was healthy. And they destroyed a child's life. Another child's life. They destroyed. Took this child out of here. Nobody's buying their BS.
Have not yet been filed could be a result of the fact that the authorities aren't sure which county is the proper place to file, or it could be that they're still working up the case.
That's what I think it is. I think they're in a blunder here with, jurisdiction. I think that's the issue, and I'd hate for these people to be let out over jurisdictional issues. I truly think that they are going to get this something. I don't see these people. I just in my body, I could be totally off base. This is just an opinion based upon emotion. Okay? To be fair, it's based upon emotion. But I just don't feel that they're going to let these animals walk with everything that we know. You know? Hey, Snowfeather, it's nice to see you. Hope you're doing well, love. That happened here yeah. So I don't know. I really do believe that it's not as big of a deal. It might be. I may be way underplaying this and not realizing the major significance of this. And that is probably because I'm not in this area. I'm unfamiliar with California law, which is different than Florida law. But, the policies are fairly similar. You do have, federal guidance that we can look at the federal laws and kind of make way of what possible state laws could be. Good, Belinda. I'm thankful. That makes me feel good. There may be evidence what Rebecca said was rehearsed. Watch Grandma on the right during the interview. What do you think? ABC 7-month-old. Okay, well, I can't star that right now. We will try to get back to that. Let me leave that up just for a second, and then let me get over here. So that's kind of where we are with that. The emotional part of me feels like they've got enough. The board in the House, it did come out of the House days before. If I looked at Brian Koberger's case and saw how quickly they were able to turn around the garbage DNA, they actually took that from PA and shipped it back to Idaho. So they literally had it shipped. I'm sure they literally loaded it on a plane and took off. I don't think it was a national airline. I think that somebody took it from one FBI office and got on an FBI plane and went over to Idaho and dropped it off. Like it was flown to Idaho. And I believe that they went ahead and processed the stuff, but they were able to get the information, the DNA back from the time that the Idaho State Crime Lab got the garbage. They were able to have a DNA profile back within, I think it was like 36 hours. So yes, I agree with Strategic Eyes that cases, even priority cases, take a while to go through the process, but I have seen the process increase substantially in processing depending on the circumstances, because we have to go back to Brian Koberger DNA 24 hours. I have to think that they are, putting this at lightning speed, all hands on deck. It's a 7-month-old baby. This is urgent as top tier urgency gets. That urgency may have slowed down now that they determined that the child is deceased and they're not, running against a ticking clock to try to find and save the baby. So things may now slow down, but Could this have happened in the timing? I truly believe it's possible. Just from our experience in the Brian Koberger case, that doesn't mean that that is true. So we're going to listen to Strategic Eyes, so you guys have, your entire thought process. You hear his side and you kind of hear my side. He's in the industry, like he's working he's a detective. So I do put a lot of weight into his statements, but we also have our own personal experiences that we can tap into as well. And my personal experience is they've been able to escalate DNA testing rapidly in prior cases, just recent prior cases, such as the Brian Koberger case.
Have suspicions, but do they have enough evidence to really support criminal charges?
And that's going to be the question that many of us have. Now, I don't know why this in the right order. Let me make sure I got these in the right order. They should be in the right order. So this must be, I would have set this here, or this might be the kickoff to what we're going to be talking about if it's in this order.
The Inland Empire, where the search continues for 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, who is presumed dead. Investigators say the baby's parents faked his kidnapping. KTLA 5's Jillian Smuckler live in San Bernardino with the very latest in this investigation. Good morning.
Good morning, Lou. Yeah, major developments in just the past 24 hours for that search for 7-month-old Emmanuel. Now, what we could tell you is that his father was spotted over the weekend searching for
cooperating with law enforcement at the peril of Rebecca. I guarantee it. The affidavit came forward from Vanessa. Okay, some of the, I don't know if you saw it or not, but their previous, the promise of faith, their child, the 10-week-old child that was heavily abused. Well, some of those interrogation reports or statements that Jake made have been released to the public. And he threw Vanessa under the bus in that. He's like, well, you know what? When this first happened, I would have never thought that Vanessa would have done it. But now that we know what really happened to this baby, yeah, it had to have been her, right? Throwing her under the bus. What do you bet he's using the same strategy he used with Vanessa with Rebecca? And if Rebecca's family's here, I know you guys ain't talking to her, but you should. You should. Because this might be the pressure that she needs to finally break her silence and bring her baby home. So if you're not talking to her, I don't know if that's the best strategy. I'd keep her talking. If you truly don't believe her story and you believe that she had something to do with baby Emmanuel and his disappearance and or death, I would definitely be, I would be talking to her. I would be friendly. I would be supportive. I would be whatever you need to be in this time to that woman until you bring this baby home. I wouldn't be telling her about herself. I would be supporting her. I would be encouraging her. I sure would. I'd be praying over her. Power of prayer, especially when they have to listen to it. But if her family, like her mom, is not don't do that. Grandma, I know, I get you. I feel you. I understand your anger. We are all angry right along with you, but you are the one that can help. Don't ever take yourself out of the game because you might be able to help. I would be supporting her. I would be letting her know everything Jake is doing. Because she might be thinking law enforcement is lying to her because that's what he beat into her brain. Remember, she's so loyal because she was beaten into shape. She was trained to be loyal. Because if she wasn't loyal, she got a horrible sentence for that. Hey, Riv. Nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Shauna, Patty, Sonia, good morning. I don't know. I don't know if I'd have that strategy. I mean, I can be angry with somebody and be dubious as well, right? We all can. So take some of that anger and use it for the good. Be her best friend. What do? We keep our enemies closer, no? Honestly, where do we see the birth certificate? I don't think we've seen the birth certificate, nor do I think we're going to. It's a private document. But we did get confirmation that the child was born December 24th, much different than any other date that we had. According to Mary, I think it was Mary, one of the families. Oh, we'll get lockered. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. People says she don't have good communication with her family because they're not fond of Jake. I'm sure they're not. None of us are. None of us are. He is a threat to the communities. Any community he goes into, he is a threat to. We don't even know what other stuff he's done. We only know about the home stuff. If he's this violent at home, he's doing dirty out there in the streets. We just need to find it. I'm sorry. I believe it. You're not going to change me. I could be wrong, but just about every case when we have stuff like this, it's never what it seems. Never what it seems.
His body, while his mother gave her first jailhouse interview, maintaining her innocence and standing by her story, saying she's committed to finding her son. Now, Rebecca and Jake Haro, they were arrested at their home in Cabazon on Friday on suspicion of murder with malice.
No.
They arrested the couple.
No, I haven't, Shauna. Are you going to give me bad news? I know she's been struggling with her health. I did not hear anything else. What happened? If you guys don't know who Brandy Vaughn is, Michael Monkey Vaughn is her son, and he was truly abducted from his home. Oh, that's giving me goosebumps. I'm preparing right now for what you're about to tell me, but a lot of the community the people there, she was airlifted to the house. Oh, good gracious, that just gave me goosebumps. That's not the good kind of goosebumps either. Oh, no. She's been suffering, she had liver failure, but she's never seen justice for her son out in Fruitland, Idaho. I hope you guys check out his story. He happened right about 45 days after Summer Wells, and many of you guys know how tender Summer Wells is in all of our hearts still to this day, this many years later. Well, her beautiful blue-eyed, blonde-haired son, 5 years old, was outside playing, kind of got away from his dad, got outside, went over to the neighbors kind of shoveled him back home, and it looked like he was going to walk inside. She turned around while he was at the mailbox and went back inside, and somebody came by and snatched him. We believed it was for the unthinkable. What would anybody want a little kid for? 4 people are being accused of this publicly, but not even law enforcement has brought their names up and said they're persons of interest or suspects in the case, but she's never seen justice. All these years, they're looking at Sarah and Stacy Wandra, Brandon Shurtleff, and Adrian Lucen, and they have not been able to bring the charges against them. It is my belief Brandon was the biggest monster of them all. He stayed at his mother's house, and I truly believe he stayed with Michael, and I truly believe he's the one that took Michael's life. If I had to put my theory out there, she's never seen justice for her son, but we all know what most likely happened to her son, which has got to be absolutely devastating. As her fight for her son intensified, she needed a liver. Her liver started failing on her. And so now we had the real possibility of his mother not making it to see justice. And mind you, she has a daughter as well, a younger daughter, his sister. That is another tough case. I had always put her and her family on a pedestal because we were comparing them to the Wells, and we showed what real parents that had a child abducted looked like and how they acted. And then some of the sentiments from the public as the case started dragging out turned onto them. And so I went out to the area to find out what happened. This poor lady was absolutely terrified that Bullhorn Betty was coming. She didn't know if I was going to be protesting. She didn't know. I've told everybody this was a fact-finding trip. I'm out there to search for a little boy. You know, I use different strategies on different cases. Some cases require, you know, more activism and advocacy, and some just don't. This was not one that required that advocacy. It needed to be, we needed answers, not pressure. And so I was out there to find answers, and I found the answers that I needed. I found people, because you guys know when I'm out there, I'm knocking on doors, walking and talking. If somebody's walking a dog, I'm asking them questions. I usually have a flyer in my hand of the missing child or missing person. And I just start, you know, very politely interrogating everybody, because it's really what I'm doing. I'm interrogating them. I want to know where they were, what they were doing, what they saw, where they, you know, where they saw it, show me, you know. And so I did find, found several people. First of all, there was nothing that I can say about the parents not doing what they were doing. Brandy was out there. She came in from work. She had already left for work. She rushed home. She was searching at the water park. She was searching everywhere up and down the streets. I spoke to a woman that was walking her dog, and she said that she saw this lady in the water park and she thought she was searching for her dog. She was frantic. She had the face of pure fear while she was searching. And that's what you want to hear when you hear about a parent, that because they're searching for something that's lost. Parents that don't go out and search, it's because they know where it is. Parents that don't know where their child is, they're going to be out there searching for their child, and that's what she was doing. I also talked to some neighbors that saw her completely, utterly distraught. You can't fake that stuff. I also had the drone, one of the drones. It was a $30,000 drone or $15,000 drone. It was very high cost, very large. I mean, it's the size of my desk. And this drone operator took his drone out there, and his drone was actually shot out of the sky by another neighbor out there while they were looking at it. So I got a chance to talk to the drone operator, which was out there with the family on those very recent hours of this case. So I went through this entire case very thoroughly, spoke to a lot of people. I made the determination that Brandy wasn't or her family had no involvement whatsoever. So then I approached Brandy for an interview, and she told me she would do anything that she could to bring her child home. And I can tell you that woman was terrified to meet me because of what hate channels told her about me. I'm as honest and true as blue as it can be. If I'm coming out there for a different reason than fact finding, I will let you know. It's for law enforcement. It's to keep me safe, keep you safe, keep the neighbors safe. I do not hide those. I do not do blitz. Everybody knows everything, because I've got a lot of processes that I'm required to go through before I get out there on those streets. And we do take that seriously. There's only a few instances where I won't involve law enforcement. That's when I don't trust law enforcement. That's the only time that I don't involve law enforcement in any of my activities. And Sumner County is one of those places where I do not trust law enforcement. I will never work with them on any of my political or avocation for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, ever. They don't deserve the respect. They're not getting that respect from me. I only give that to law enforcement departments that aren't corrupt. Okay? When I start feeling corruption, that's when you lose Bullhorn Betty. So that's kind of where we are with that. I'm sorry to hear. No, I did not hear about Brandy Vaughn. You know, I pray to God. The best part about it is livers. You know, you don't need to give up your entire liver. You can give a sliver, you know, and help somebody out. I hope that and pray that people have, you know, taken blood tests and are willing to help if she truly does need a liver transplant. Certainly, there's somebody out there that can help this beautiful woman achieve that goal. I pray to God that she's able to see justice for her son, but I also know that her son needs an angel. So we're gonna move on from this. It sucks. It sucks. I will cry like a baby if anything happens to Brandy. I will tell you that. It's very emotional for me because she deserves to see justice for her kid. And then you got a piece of crap like what's displayed on my screen right now. It's angering, you know? It's angering. You got a mother that's wanting to see justice for her freaking kid, and she's losing her life. And then you have this monster right here that might be able to get out of jail today. I just think that's wholly unfair. Just wholly unfair. And he's throwing his wife under the bus. He's throwing his wife slap under the frickin' bus. And she's standing by her man. "10 miles south of where Emmanuel was reported missing." So, oh, you guys didn't even hear that. Did you guys hear that? Oh, I didn't even realize I didn't even have it on the screen. I'm sorry. We'll go back just a little bit so you guys can hear what I was hearing. I got a little upset and didn't realize I didn't have anything on the screen. Sorry, guys.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit yesterday looking for his missing baby.
That's where
he was searching a remote area in Moreno Valley with detectives. It is still unclear what led them there, given it's about 10 miles south of where Emmanuel was first reported missing. But
10 miles south from where Emmanuel was yeah, it's sorry guys. That just kind of caught me off guard just a little bit, and it's very upsetting for me. Am I muted? I shouldn't be muted. No, I'm not muted. No, I'm good. You might need to turn your microphone up. So, you know, it's just these cases get to me, you know. Again, I'm human, and we haven't talked about Michael Monkey Vaughn since I think January of this year. You know, giving an update. We gave an update when we found out she got sick, and you know, I've been hearing her. I just assumed, because I haven't checked, you know, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so I just assumed, you know, things were working themselves out. So, you know, hearing this is a little shocking, you know, for me, because Brandy deserves to be here, and she deserves, you know, she deserves justice. She deserves justice. Good morning, Seth. It's nice to see you.
But after an hours-long search yesterday, investigators say Emmanuel's body still has not been found. Now, the couple is standing by their story of what exactly happened to their baby, and they're expected to make their first court appearance.
I don't know if they're standing by their story. I think that might be inaccurate for seeing him out there. You know, I don't know. I think he had to have said something, folks. Aw. Guys, throw some green hearts up in the, thank you, Manu. Throw some green hearts up in the chat. If you guys don't know who Seth is another, that's a father. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' father is in the chat right now. His son has been missing since January 26, 2024. How hard is it? You know, he's got things going on. Oh, shoot. I just realized you were. I just realized something. You're in you're in trouble, Seth. I'm just saying, you're in trouble. You're already in trouble. You're already in trouble this morning. I'm out here already. Thank you. So, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is he was 15 when he disappeared. He's 16 now, and may actually, well, we won't go there. He's 16 now, and his father has been advocating for him. The case, he's got a really crappy sheriff's department working for his son's case. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. You don't ever hear me talking as deplorably as I talk about Sumner County Sheriff. Not that all the sheriffs in Sumner County are POSs, but their leadership is, and that really reflects upon all the people there. Sheriff Struggles has, which is Eric Craddock. He's the new sheriff. It was Sonny Weatherford, which many people highly respected. I don't know any of these people. I'm not going to say I respect them at all because I don't know. What I see going in this county is there was a big brother system, and in all fairness, it appeared Sonny was part of that. So if you guys know anything about me, I don't like any government official having their foot on the neck of the public, and I do believe good old voice systems do that. So I already didn't like, but I didn't know. I always go in with positivity, and usually law enforcement doesn't buck at the public, because we all have a right to be there. We have a right to be on roads. We have a right to do this. We have constitutional rights. And he didn't like that. He got mad at Seth. He didn't want to work the case. He's restricted the case to 1 to 10. Like, he's just an a-hole that had this worldwide case. And you would think that people would put their best foot forward when the whole entire world is looking at you. You would think that they would put their best foot forward. And they tried to. But the problem is they are so involved with Kathy Bowersox, his stepmother. The whole county knows everybody. They are part of a developer out there which has constant contacts with the politicians all in that county. So they're friendly. And we kept asking them, do you know them on a personal level? They failed to answer it. They shut the case down, basically. That's what they did. They shut the case down. They're no longer talking to Seth, the innocent father that once answers. They're protecting the people that could have either disappeared, as far as parental abduction, took this child somewhere. Nobody knows where this child is, or they did something worse. Now, I'm sorry, we see law enforcement all over this country, including in San Bernardino. And the one thing that you see is that they are communicating with their public. Eric Craddock he gave 1, maybe 2 press conferences that didn't even display Sebastian's face behind him. And the last press conference anybody has had on this national and worldwide case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was April 1st, 2024. That is correct. I did not mistake my speech. 2024. An active case. They have actively worked to get their media out of this case. They've actively worked to try to silence me through intimidation and false arrests. And now Seth has had it. He has absolutely had it. So Seth Rogers right now is by himself. And I hope by the end of the day, that's not the case. He's in front of Sumner County Sheriff's Office with a chair, an umbrella, a sign, and a message. He wants his son's case taken seriously. He's been watching all over this country of law enforcement doing their job, and he's looking at the body that's taking care of his son's case, and he is sick and tired of the excuses. They should have spot searches. They've done nothing after the 8 days that they searched for this boy. They know that this story doesn't make sense, and they kept failing this case because they were ill-equipped to handle this case. And instead of moving it on or getting the right people for this case, they chose to shovel the crap under the rug, put the file in a filing cabinet, and call it a day on the back of a 15-year-old boy. They make me sick. And clearly, they make Seth Rogers sick as well. So much so, he is at his wit's end with Sumner County to the point that he is now going up there and sitting. I don't know if he's going to go live or not. I hope he does. I mean, I completely understand why he wouldn't. But I also know that there's a lot of people out there in Sumner County that has time, has a camera, has a channel, and can get out there and film that and make sure it does come live, because I don't know if yes, Seth live YouTube. All right, so we have Seth being live on YouTube for his avocation for his son. I think that this is what's needed. I think it's time to make this case, make the Sebastian Rogers case public, like majorly, the corrupt part of it public. That's what's been shoveled under the rug. All of us. All of the things that Sumner County has done to all of us for advocating for this boy that they don't want to arrest their taxpayers, their pockets, their deep pockets that help keep their politicians. Why? Because they're part of a developer's family. And they're getting the treatment as they're untouchable in Sumner County. And that's courtesy of the Good Old Boys Club there in Sumner County, where we say hell to the nah. We are going to take that card away from you. There is no more Good Old Boys Club in Sumner County, and if there is, you guys are going to be doing your business in the shittiest back rooms of the dirtiest bars in that county, because we are going to ramp up stuff out there. We're going to start exposing these people. We're going to start letting the community grab their phones and start recording everybody in that county that they see out in restaurants and other public places where they have a duty and they are allowed to record. We are going to start embarrassing Sumner County at some point. I'm a time and a place thing and person, and the time and the place is coming. Enough is enough. The public is over the BS going on in Sumner County. This boy deserves better. He deserves a real investigation. His parents have a lot to say and should be saying, and if they're not, then why aren't you doing a damn thing about it? Where's the forensics? Where's the warrants for their car information? Sumner County, I'd like to know. All right, so there you go. If you guys would like to be out there in Sumner County, Seth Rogers is out there right now, and it sounds like he's done with the BS. He's done with the excuses. He wants answers. And if you're out there and you can get some recordings, please let me know. I'll play them on here. I'll pass them around so people know to go to your show to watch what's going on out there. I need some eyes and ears out there in Sumner County. If anybody's out there in Sumner County, get me some eyes and ears on what's going on at the sheriff's department. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so getting back to our story here with baby Emmanuel, we just heard that Jake is out there searching on the heels of his wife saying, no, our story is true. Look at this. There it is. I just realized I got the picture right here. Look at that. She wore makeup, folks. Absolutely. Don't give up, Seth. Don't give up. Look at that black eye. Do you guys see that? Oh, so I get, which one's? Oh, there we go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Look how craftfully, and I think it's very important because we just saw her. Let me take this off. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, look at that. She's got makeup on. Look how well she was able to cover that black eye. That's going to be important. That's going to be important for later, because later we're going to learn that her family saying she didn't have black eyes. Well, in this picture here, she tried to cover it up with makeup, and she did a pretty damn good job. So I have to believe if she knows how to cover up black eyes, she knows how to cover up black eyes even for a funeral. She's a professional. Okay? Most DV women are. They're professional about how to hide the abuse and how to cover it up. They're professionals. All right, let's get over to our boy Pascal. He's going to break it down for us, okay? He hot. He hot. I think we're all hot. We're all confused. Is he going to get out? Is he not going to get out? We're all confused. We're all confused.
Could literally walk tomorrow if they do not find Emmanuel's remains. Let me just say that again. The parents could actually walk.
I don't know if that's the case. I think they could. Well, let me back up. Once they charge them with, I think once they indict them on second degree, it's going to preclude them from going after first degree. So I do believe they have enough. Maybe they'll charge them with everything. We've seen that. Or an open murder charge. Maybe that's what they'll do, and that'll give them a way to keep them in jail and continue with the investigation if they have enough for a second-degree murder charge. I'm trying to process this in my brain. Do we know if California has open... Like, I kind of feel like this malice murder is open, but it sounds like they have to make a decision on whether to charge them as manslaughter, second degree, or first degree. It might just be between second and first in California. They got court today. Cody's voice. They do have court today. I'm not sure. I'm on the phone. I haven't seen. So sorry. Okay, no worries. No, you take care of whatever you need to take care of. Beletta Evans would be the biggest. I agree with that. I think, but we don't know. It kind of worries me here because what if? Listen to this. Okay, this is now. You guys know me with the low hanging fruit and applying pressure. You guys know me. I'm all for it. I think it's a great strategy. Is this a law enforcement strategy? It could have been. It could have been like, let's get them on this. We're not really jeopardizing much. We can always walk this back and let them go later. But maybe if we can just get them into our wheelhouse, apply the pressure of murder on them, maybe they'll break. Maybe this was a strategy that they could do lawfully and legally. Like detain them on suspicion of murder. But I just, a piece of me keeps hearing about this moving from San Bernardino to Riverside, okay? And I think that's really what's creating the issue, because they can't really charge them in San Bernardino because it's the wrong venue. It's the wrong jurisdiction. So I think that, the DA was with San Bernardino and telling them how to collect and what to collect for the charges. And I think they collected enough for the charges. But as soon as it was determined that they believe the homicide happened at the house, and we just learned that just in the last couple days. Now, you got to remember, none of the Riverside law enforcement has been doing the investigation. The DA hasn't been associated with this investigation, only the San Bernardino. So now the whole file, once they realize this child was murdered inside that house, they now have to take that entire file, all the evidence that they've been learning through all this time, the whole entire week. Riverside hasn't been lockstep and barrel with them. So they're in the know of all this stuff. And now they've got to teach all of this stuff to Riverside County and Riverside County detectives. And now they have to review all of this evidence because they're not just going to take their word for it. They've got to know themselves. They're the ones that are now challenged with prosecuting this. Is that DA going to think that the information that the other DA found suitable, will this DA find it equally suitable? And if so, what is their strategy at this point? They'll never tell us their strategy. Okay, they're not going to tell us their strategy. This whole thing that we're dealing with right now could be a strategy, and why we're presented with the issues that we're presented with. However, people are bringing up the blood from the brother. My understanding is it was an overdose. It was not a bloody scene. There was a massive amount of blood that exited his body. It wasn't a stab wound or a gunshot. It was, lethal substance intoxication, which doesn't produce a whole lot of blood. Will there be, if there was, hypodermic stuff involved, it could, you could have but not a massive amount. He didn't lose his life from loss of blood, is what I'm saying. He lost his life to substance intoxication. Does anyone know if indeed they were arrested on murder charges? Yes, Mama Bear, they were arrested. But right now, this is the issue. We know they were arrested. We watched it publicly be arrested. We watched them get booked into jail on homicide charge, murder, PC 187, which is malice murder. And according to the CPC 187, it could be for both for either first or second degree. But then there was another article that had referenced possibly manslaughter. I don't know if that's specifically how the statute read, because I read verbatim and I didn't see the manslaughter on the actual CPC. That's California Penal Code. So it may have been just something from Google from maybe another state. I'm unsure, but I don't think they're going to be trying to go after manslaughter in this case. It's either going to be second or first degree homicide. Just in my opinion, just from everything I know, this is too brutal, too gruesome. I mean, they're wanting to make sure that they go to jail for a long time, but we are all in the real possibility that this child may be gone. Like, we've heard about power tools, we've heard about different site locations that both Jake as well as Rebecca have been seen at late at night. That is interesting, to say the least. But if you hear, it's always Rebecca. Rebecca's the one that's made to go into the stores to ask the questions. Rebecca's the one that's made to go in to see if they have power tools. This guy set her up, and she was so dumb and blind that she just went right into the trap. He knew what he had done, and he knew what was going to come of this. And from that point on, he has been slowly but surely convincing this woman to do these things to help him out, just so he can set her up and blame it all on her, so he can try to get another sweetheart deal. And I pray to God, I'm cautioning law enforcement, do not take the bait. I think at this point they know, I mean, she needs to be in jail for the rest of her life. I'm not saying that, but he does not need to be walking free. He does not need to be blaming her and getting off with a 180-day work release. We're not playing that crap again. We're not playing that crap. If I get a hint that that's where we're going with this, guys, we're going to be funding a trip to California. We're going to be funding a trip to California, not just for me, but for several of you too. So we're not, I'm not accepting it. Okay. It's not even in my realm of possibilities at this point, because I'm not funding a trip to California, because I know I don't need to.
As early as tomorrow, out of the courthouse, if they do not find Emmanuel's remains. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I did not stutter. That is some real stuff here, guys. This is insane. One thing I'm kind of curious about is I always thought that it would be kind of like the Harvey Montgomery situation, right? Where, there wasn't any remains, but they were able to charge Adam Montgomery with some charges. But given the fact that they have not found Emmanuel,
it's not just them. Now, we have to also remember they did, and now Adam Montgomery was in a different state. So it's not really comparing apples to apples, because different states have different laws. They're similar. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're similar. They're prosecuted similarly, but there are some different nuances from one state to another. And you as the public need to understand that, because one process may be in one state may be a totally different process in another state, because each of our states have appeals courts and Supreme Courts. So, our state law and the case law and the conditions precedent may be much wildly different from one state to another. I can tell you some of the rulings that I've reviewed just from one district to another district in the state have been it's been completely opposite of one another. So we understand that. I think the fight right now is they know that these people deserve a first-degree homicide charge. I think that's more in line with the back and forth with themselves, because if they proceed forward right now and they are required, now again, I haven't looked that far into California law, so I don't know if they're required, if they don't have like an open, some states don't have open murder charges. So what is an open murder? Basically, an open murder, when they go into court with open murder, they allow the jury to decide whether it's first degree, second degree manslaughter, or, another array of charges. With those open murder cases, they don't attach a type of murder to it. In some states, they don't allow you to have the open murder. You're required to determine prior to what degree, and sometimes they end up charging them with multiple degrees of homicide. They sometimes charge them with first degree, second degree, and manslaughter, because then they've got a lot of their sixes covered, right? And that's what it's about, is getting them, you have it, you don't know, you're not going to collect any more information than this, that they need to be charged with something. And so there's different strategies that different states use to handle this. I really think and this is the nuance that I see, I really do believe if they did the presumptive test, they took the wood out, they can determine that the blood on that wood, excuse me, with my hiccups, the blood on that wood matched Emmanuel, and there was enough blood there that they could determine there's no possibility Emmanuel could have survived that. They can't determine what manner of death how he died, but they can say based upon this. So I truly believe this might be a second degree homicide. If they go down this route today, I think they may be stuck with second degree. But I don't know, because again, I'm not familiar with California law. California law is not a law that I've ever really taken the time to learn. So it's one of those things where now that we have a case here, we need to look at it. If you guys want to get up on laws and no-body cases, maybe we need to start reviewing the West case again. Maybe we can derive some new information, new theories, maybe possibilities of places these children could be, or this child could be. Maybe it would behoove us to, I also believe the reason why they weren't unable to find Orrin and Orson West is because they were also dismembered. Just my opinion. I think they were dismembered over time. Or dismembered and put out over time. I truly believe that because there was a massive amount of blood in the tub, and that's the problem I have. Just like there was a massive amount of blood inside the apartment where Harmony Montgomery went missing, and there's a massive amount of blood at this home where this child went missing. But the reason why I hone in on the West case is because the West case is from California. And so that would be the best possible case for us to kind of get, at least look a little bit under the hood of the processes in California, because they didn't give up on those two little boys, and they brought those terrible parents to justice without bodies. Within 14 months. They had them arrested in 14 months. So again, if we had to go through this process and they do have to let them go, I truly believe they're letting them go so they can get the first degree murder. But there's a piece of me that thinks that the community is so angry that they're not going to let them go. They would rather proceed with a second degree murder charge and get them behind jail for the rest of their life. And there's no crystal ball. Just because this is their strategy doesn't mean this strategy is going to work. We've got a lot of nuances. We have a lot of time for them to cover up. We don't even know when this baby was last seen by a third party. We got some significant hurdles to get over in this case, and I see those things coming through. But I still haven't lost my faith in California with this case, because to be honest with you, I'm very proud of of what they've done so far, law enforcement. You know, we don't really, because there's a lot of, like, Sumner County, right? If you were to base my commentary off how I feel about Sumner County law enforcement, you would think I hate law enforcement. You would truly think that I was I don't want, I'm one of these anti-cop people. I'm not. I love cops. I love cops, and I love men in uniforms too. So a big shout out to all the men in uniform out there. Doesn't matter which kind. I'm an equal opportunity looker. I'm just saying. Is that unprofessional? Probably unprofessional. I don't care. It's Tuesday, and we might watch animals walk off. We might as well have a little fun with it. But, I don't really have a lot to say negatively. Even with this whole situation, I think this was good. I mean, even if they let these people walk, this is what we wanted. We wanted Jake and Rebecca on their turf. We wanted Jake and Rebecca to feel the pain. We always say, well, just throw them in jail and see who breaks first. Right? So they're doing what we, the public, want to see them do. You're not getting a complaint from Betty. Wired fact, Jake's attorney didn't appear with him at the said search area, but I feel Mr. Hughes should have been there with his client. Interesting. I wonder if he waived his right to counsel to do this. Huh. You're right. That is interesting, Care Bear. That is interesting. Huh. Interesting. What about his... Yeah, that's another thing, Phoenix Rising. I think, there's a lot of reasons why I think that he's going to stay, at least him, is going to stay behind bars. Jake, I don't think Jake's getting out. I don't think Jake's getting out. And I know people aren't fans of me screaming for ICE, but if either one of them are illegal, I want detainers on them. I don't want them walking the street. I don't want them covering up evidence. I don't want them intimidating witnesses. I don't want them having conversations with family members or coaching people or anything. I want them behind bars. I want them to stay behind bars. I still think that even if they don't charge him, that like even Phoenix Rising is saying is that, he's on probation. He violated his probation. He violated his probation with the gun charge back in 2024. So certainly he should be in jail, because now he should be in jail for the next 4 years. Just on that, he still has to go through the process and stuff like that. But with this extra added issue of them believing he murdered his son, I think that they will be able to keep him behind bars, even if they don't charge him. I think they're going to have to be creative here to keep them behind bars, especially if they don't charge them. But if either one of them are poised to get out, and I know the stance of California not to work with ICE and stuff like that, but I pray to God, when it comes to stuff like this, they put their politics down for the sake of the case, and they do whatever they can do to keep these people locked down. And if that requires them working with a entity that they don't want to work with, this is a 7-month-old child. A lot of us have to do a lot of things we don't want to do. So I don't know if that's the case, because I've been getting mixed information. I've been doing a lot of research on their whether they're here illegally or not, because I am going to, me, I'm not going to not apply every tool I have to apply pressure to bureaucrats or politicians or anything possible. And if that means me filing reports and applying pressure to ICE to get these people, I will do whatever it takes. And that's what people love that about me. Some people don't appreciate that about me, but I really don't care. It's not about you. It's about these cases. And this is a 7-month-old baby. And when I am dealing with a 7-month-old baby, I really don't care about, people's opinions of ICE or anything else. My only goal is get bad guys off the street. And if that's not your goal, then, we use all tools necessary to accomplish the goal. Any lawful tool necessary, we will try to engage on this show to put bad guys behind bars, whether it's a popular viewpoint, a popular stance or not. Because again, it's a 7-month-old baby. I think everybody, their focus should be, how do we keep these people from hurting another 7-month-old baby, right? That should be in the back of all of our minds. And how that's accomplished, if we can't get it accomplished one way, you know what? You know me. If I see an obstacle, I'm going to go over it, around it, or under it. Okay? And that's just how I operate. I've always operated that way. It's just instinctually to me. But it doesn't seem like we're going to need to go there. But I would absolutely go there. Okay. And I hope that everybody, when it comes to a 7-month-old baby, no matter how you feel about it, when we need to get somebody off the streets, we're going to use every mechanism, every tool in our toolbox to accomplish that. And that's what people need to understand. I'm not going to say anything. You guys know my political leanings. I try very hard not to bring that to this show. I have other mechanisms and outlets to let that out on. But we also have to be thinking outside the box in these cases. And I don't want anything hindering us, even popular viewpoints or unpopular viewpoints, hindering our ability to do that. So I hope that is on the table if this does kind of go south. But again, we have no control over that. We can only advocate for it. And that's really it. So as you see in the beautiful eyes of Pascal, no offense, I'm not trying, love your wife, love your kids. But his deep brown eyes are speaking volumes here on the Bullhorn Betty show, right? I mean, look at his face. He's like, something, I don't know what to do here. I don't know where we go here. Let's pray to God. Troll right now. If people are in my, yeah, okay. Well, we don't do trolls over here. Get them out, block them.
Sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot, turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, whack a troll, let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick, whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
Yay! Thank you to all the Bullhorn Betty trolls. We know you guys really just have a closet love relationship. We know you just can't. I know. What can I say? Thank you. I you know what? When I don't think I'm very important anymore, like I feel like I'm, losing that charm that just attracts those trolls. I feel loveless. I don't feel loved, right? Cause we know they all closet love Bullhorn Betty. Who would spend this much time? Who would spend this much time watching poor old Betty if they didn't just have a crush on me? Oh, young and teethy. I got nice, pretty teeth. Some people are jealous of that. I got beautiful blue eyes. Some people are jealous of that. I got, gray hair. I don't think too many people are jealous of that. But hey, you never know. You never know. Okay, you never know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying over here.
At all. And of course, we saw
Thank
Jake
you.
give the cops a wild goose chase and all that. It does make you wonder what is actually going on here, and do they have enough? Does the DA have enough?
That's it. Do they have enough? I think they do. I think they have enough to keep these folks behind bars, folks. I truly believe they have enough. I truly believe they have enough, but do they have enough for the charge that they want to keep them behind jail for? And they're making the tough decision right now on whether or not they want to go after first degree or second degree. I'm almost confident that this is what it's coming down to, because I truly, fan lady, look who it is. Wow. Well, howdy doody, my love. I hope you are doing well. I certainly do. I hope you are doing well. It's been a while. Big hug. Wow. Blast from the past. Nice to see you, love bug. The past history has to factor in. It does have to factor in. So we do have some mechanisms, at least to keep Jake behind bars, like we're talking about his violation of probation, right? That's super huge, violation of probation. So I'm still not convinced that they're going to walk today, okay? And I might be detrimentally wrong in my assessment to my audience. We might be coming back here later this afternoon completely, utterly disappointed. Let's be honest. We may be coming back and we may be like, okay, well, here's the deal, guys. They're going home, right? We cannot lose hope. You know what? This is a call to action for everybody out in that community that really wants, instead of being in front of that house, guys, go out and start looking. We know that it appears that they would not put that child near them. Oh, Phoenix Moon, it's nice to see you too, my love. Thank you. Oh, good gracious. Thank you for that. I hope you are doing well as well. I haven't seen some of you guys in a while. Nice to see you. I just want to give you guys a hug. I wish we had like the virtual, like you guys could see that little, virtual you, and I could be like virtually hugging you. No. I'm Florida. I'm Florida bound. I'm sandwiched between Sarasota and Tampa. I am Florida bound. I am a Florida girl. I've been in this county since the day I was born. I live literally right down the road from where the doctor patted me on my butt for the first time and I took my first breath of oxygen. It was right here. I haven't gone too far. Oh, wow. Live in Georgia. I was considering moving. I'm kind of glad I didn't move to Georgia. I also considered moving to Tennessee. I loved Tennessee. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I've loved Tennessee. That's why I think I'm so angry with Tennessee. Because I was going to move to Tennessee years and years and years ago. I was going to move to Tennessee. Tennessee has never been off my radar of places to move. For years, they have clean air, the mountains, they have the changes of the seasons. Georgia and Tennessee have always been, because I got family in Georgia, I got family in Tennessee. It would be, I got family in South Carolina. It would be an organic, move to either one of those states. But then I get into true crime, and there ain't no way I'm moving to Tennessee unless I'm moving to Sumner County. And the only reason why I'd be moving to Sumner County is to make sure I get those a-holes out of their government. Because, at the end of the day, people know me all over this country, not for my true crime activism. I can promise you that. Okay? I can promise you that many people across this country do very rarely watch me. The people that I go across and talk to and stuff like that, they don't pay attention to true crime. They pay attention to politics. Okay? And so the only time that I would move somewhere, if I'd moved to Tennessee right now, it's going to be moving my butt right into Sumner County. And I haven't taken that off the table. I've actually considered renting this house out, packing everything up, and going and renting a place in Sumner County just so I can take the county on mano a mano, because I do not like their environment. I think it's toxic and I think it's dangerous for their citizens. And when I see something like that, my inner activist comes out. So I don't know. We'll see.
To really nail these two to the wall, right? So again, this is very interesting. Again, there's this video, and I want to play this for you guys as well. This is just something very interesting. Again, this is the one I couldn't find. I don't know why I couldn't find this CBS thing. I was doing some research on it. I didn't want to take. I'm always happy to put Pascal up here and give him a plug, but I don't like taking his content, especially since he just dropped it 8 hours ago and putting it on here. But I couldn't find this article, even though it's a public article. So we're going to borrow Pascal for a moment just to get this article, and then after this article ends, we're going to move on to the next aspect of my conversation.
His parents may be released.
Another day of heartache in this Capizon community as strangers dropped off flowers and stuffed animals outside the home of Emmanuel Haro. The 7-month-old boy first reported kidnapped by his mother and now believed to be dead.
I feel like this is a huge tragedy, and I feel like that baby was failed.
Emmanuel's parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, were both arrested at their home on Friday for murder. This after 8 days of searching for the infant. On Sunday, the search continued. The child's father, dressed in a jail uniform, joined law enforcement along the 60 freeway near Beaumont, searching for something.
Now, I'm telling you right now, I got to cut in and out here, of course, guys.
Okay, so I'm not going to cut in and out. We've seen, I think we did see this article yesterday. I couldn't find it. I tried to search for this specific one, and I seem not to be able to find it. Thank you, Tahara. They can be brought up on separate charges in each county. I just asked a California judge friend of mine. Perfect. I really don't think they're getting out. You know, I really believe that this is a situation where it is a jurisdictional issue that's causing some massive problems. And I think the one issue is they haven't had the opportunity. Come here, honey. Let me take your diaper off. Come here. She got a little diaper on. She going through her little thingy. See, I just been seeping. Mommy's been keeping this diaper on me, and I keep trying to tear it off, and she won't let me. All right, so let me get this off you so you can go potty. I think she needs to go potty on the potty pad. I would take her out, but we're on alive. Anyways, there's her. I know she. Look at this little thing. Look at that little butt, and it's got a little hole for her little tail. Look at that little butt, this little thing. They're washable. She's got the cutest little rear end. Is that bad for me to say that my pooch got a cute little hooch? Our caboose. Oh, you guys heard me snort. I'm sorry about that. How embarrassing. No, I don't get embarrassed very often. But we know he's throwing them under the bus. And so here's Strategic Eyes, okay? I just found him recently. I really like his commentary. I'm sorry, I just do. It resonates with me. He's very, I don't want to say fun, but kind of, he keeps your attention, he keeps your attention. He's not so serious. He gets the stuff that you need. He explains things well. And, I don't know. I really respect since I found him and know that he's an active detective. Even if he was a retired detective, it wouldn't bother me. I love law enforcement perspective. And you guys know I used to like, Duty Ron, but now I think he's a bonehead. And so I don't really use his commentary because at the end of the day, Duty Ron had something to say about Bullhorn Betty without doing his due diligence. And I was like, well, if this is the kind of detective work you do, then you're crappy at your job. And that's basically what I said to him. And please don't make me send you a cease and desist letter. That's the other thing I said to him. So now we only use, the interview room with Chris McDonough. And then I found Strategic Eyes, and I like the, Chris McDonough is just real serious all the time, right? And it's good information. Don't get me wrong, but it's so monotone, right? Yeah, we don't get monotone over on Strategic Eyes, okay? We get kind of the real Gutron. But that's where our insane asylum came from, right? That's where that dig every time I say welcome to the insane asylum, right? Grab your straitjacket to your padded room. That every time I say that is my FU to Duty Ron. Okay? Just for everybody to know. If you want to know where that came from, it was a courtesy of Mr. Duty. Okay? So that's kind of where I'm at. Do I ever want to be disrespectful? No. But, at the end of the day, Duty Ron brought it on himself. Okay? I'm a phone call away, bro. I'm just saying. So you don't look like an a-hole. Just saying. All right. So Strategic Eyes is here. He kind of breaks this down. He has a major problem with all of this. Okay? And so you guys hear me. I'm a little more relaxed about it. But this is an officer or a detective. I don't want to be disrespectful. This is a detective. So maybe I am just wishfully thinking. Maybe I am projecting out there in the universe and manifesting what I want to go on. TMZ. Who is TMZ? Oh, they're a kind of the Inquirer. of celebrity news. Okay. But they get the dirt. They get the dirt. I don't know how they get the dirt. I've sold them articles. They get the dirt. Okay. But that's TMZ. I don't know what TMZ stands for specifically. Hey, Jen, it's nice to see you, love. I don't know what that specifically stands for, but it's basically the Inquirer of Hollywood. I guess they're the the people that follow the celebrities around. They pay people to follow celebrities around. My interview that was given to them was Dog the Bounty Hunter. Okay, a celebrity. So
Found soon, his parents may be released.
Wow.
Another day of heartache in this Capizon community as strangers dropped off flowers and stuffed animals outside the home of Emmanuel Haro. The 7-month-old boy first reported kidnapped by his Friday for a...
I don't want to get to it.
Steve.
Not at this stage.
Okay.
Charge.
Listen.
Doesn't look to me like the DA has enough to file by tomorrow.
That's concerning. But he has no information. Like this guy, the guy behind him is not part of the case. I don't even know if he's in the state of California. But he's listening to what is being released to the public. Now, how much is he looking at? Is he taking into consideration that they have a camera across the street, seeing her fall down in the parking lot, get up, not have the baby, run in and claim that the baby was abducted from her? Is he taking into account that the other cameras in the area? Is he taking into account the massive amount of blood on the floor? Everybody thinks they just got this blood when they did the execution of the warrant. They didn't. They took the wood, the flooring out days before they kicked down their fence and arrested them. Days before. I want to say 2, 3, maybe 4 days prior to them actually going and arresting them. That's when they were at the property. That's when they were digging up. That's when they cut out the board. Would that have been enough time to process it? Well, considering it was days and then they break down the gate, I'd have to say, yeah, they determined that blood spot was Emmanuel's blood, nobody else's. That's just, and I might be assuming entirely too much, folks. I might be assuming entirely too much. Momo says, Betty, Google says TMZ stands for 30-mile zone. Oh, referring to a 30-mile radius around Beverly Boulevard and Oh, okay. So maybe that's where their studio must be, if they're TMZ. Huh. I never heard that before. I always thought it was somebody's initials. I won't lie. I always thought it was somebody's initials. And The Real Me Too says Jake won't get out. He violated probation. I think they're going to keep him. I really think that we're making a big deal about this, but I am concerned about the charging. I feel like they have enough, but again, I'm not an investigator. Like I told you, I haven't looked into their penal code enough other than what we've read here publicly yesterday or the day before.
Steve Meister is a criminal defense attorney.
This is very, very problematic. Real quick, somebody asked me, would the charges be dropped without prejudice? No, that doesn't work that way. Not at this stage. It would never be dropped without prejudice. But we're going to talk about that. And big shout out to Leslie with $3.99 super sticker. Appreciate you. Let's keep going. And that was Tori Bannister with that question. All right, let's keep going.
Attorney and former prosecutor.
They have something and they could be right, but they...
So he's from New York. He was a former prosecutor. I believe they said New York. And again, different laws. He doesn't have their investigative file. He's only going off, basically, they have as much information as we have, with the exception they may have some additional law enforcement sources closer to the investigation than, say, we are. That would be the only edge that they would probably have.
Probably don't have enough yet.
He says the parents are likely being looked at and questioned separately. Rebecca first called 911 on the 14th, saying she was attacked and her son taken from their car at this sporting goods store parking lot.
I keep wondering if they regret having people pray over them, because I truly believe in the power of prayer. Does Jake think he says Emmanuel was left here? They don't find anything. And another thing about that too, blessed happy Nana, is I also have a problem with the fact of lack of scent dogs or cadaver dogs picking up on any scent. They should have been able to pick up on that scent. It's only been a week or so. That scent should still have been very much strong out there in that area. At least to identify, maybe the dog couldn't have found the scent or tracked the scent, but it should have smelt something, and it smelt nothing, which is, it makes me feel like he's saying Rebecca did this, and this is where he heard Rebecca may have thrown the child. I feel like he's acknowledging some things, but not others. So I actually like TMZ here and there. Some of the stuff that they find is like, woo, baby. They get some dirt though. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. TMZ gets some tea.
Jake Haro is currently on probation for
This is bad. This is bad. The more I think about it, this is horrible.
He's got Strategic Eyes has some major issues with this, because he's saying what he's hearing here may actually be they may have arrested without consulting the DA. I'm not sure if that's the case, though, because I believe the DA was out there at the scene, so I have to believe San Bernardino did consult with the DA and the DA's office, especially with a 7-month. I don't see how they could not have. And so I'm really thinking that this is literally a jurisdictional issue. This jurisdiction was comfortable with the way the case was progressing, but now that they realize they're in the wrong jurisdiction, passing the case and the buck off to this new DA, this new law enforcement body, maybe they're uncomfortable because they didn't do the investigation. They didn't see the evidence. Now they're having to go back and look at the evidence, seeing if that it rises to their comfort of prosecution in this case, and what their strategy will be based on this. They're going to be with law enforcement. They're going to be in roundtable discussions, going through this, explaining everything, presenting it, because those detectives are presenting this case to the prosecutor of Riverside, and they probably already pitched their case to them, and now the prosecution is now having to review all of this information. And of course, they're going to put it in order, so it should flow well. And if the DA sees what law enforcement sees, then we're moving forward. If they don't, then I don't know if these people will be let out. Rebecca might, but I don't see where Jake is going to be let out to walk the free world, because we do know he's been violent. He's just had gun charges. He already has a child that is maimed for life, another missing baby. I just don't see where he's got a path forward for getting out, but I could be totally wrong. We've got one more video on this. I know, let me check one thing. Let me pull this real quick and check, because I heard Seth was on YouTube. Let me check YouTube real quick and see if he is out there or if somebody else is running a show of Seth. Let me see what we got here. I do not see a live from Seth. So we'll keep monitoring this to see if somebody goes out there and starts live streaming him. But I just know he's exhausted. He's tired of being ignored by law enforcement. He's tired of not having answers with his son. And I think his frustration has just erupted. I just think he's tired of nothing. And he's at his wit's end. And if he's got to go out there every day and fight for his son in front of Sumner County Sheriff, I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's just tired of and I can't blame him. I've never seen such low professionalism from any other investigative body in my life. Sumner County gets a flat F. An F minus on just their humanity factor. on their humanity factor. They get an F minus on just the humanity factor. This man is a grieving father that needs answers. They're not moving the needle. Like we've never felt Sumner County in the case of Sebastian Rogers like we felt San Bernardino in the case of baby Emmanuel. Given the conflicting reports of Emmanuel's age, with parents stating he's 7 months old, I'm questioning whether he may have been 7 months old at the time of the incident and would be currently 9 months old. A lot of people have said that, Restored Faith. We're working through that. We have learned, at least from the latest reporting, because nobody knew when this child was born. I don't know why. But Mary seems, and she said this earlier, and I've just found it. I don't know. I'm hoping I got it in my presentation, but I did just found it. And it sounds like this child was born December 24th. It was a Christmas Eve baby, which would have made that child 7 months old up until August 24th. On August 24th, that child would have been turning 8 months old. So there is a possibility of that, but we're still conflicted. I know a lot of people are saying that, this child was born November 8th. Some people said it was December 8th, but I'm hearing from family members the child was born on December 24th, 2024. So that would have made him 7 months at the time he disappeared and 8 months just recently. The last 2 days, he's 8 months and 2 days old as of today, based on that date of birth. The problem is nobody's seen birth certificates, and because we've heard November, December, and now December 24th, it makes people a little uncomfortable in believing that. I don't know what to believe, but if this child is older than 7 months when he disappeared, then yes, you're absolutely right. I truly believe that at 7 months is when the incident did happen. So that's how I would have. But thank you. And thank you for the super chat, by the way. So now you guys hear Strategic Eyes. He has a problem with this. He has a problem with this, but I still think the problem is not the consulting the DA. I think truly the problem is taking one investigative body and prosecutor and moving that entire case over to another investigative body and prosecutor. I think that is the confliction. And you know what? I've always had questions about that too, because if they truly didn't have paperwork on him or a birth certificate, then he most likely wasn't born in a hospital, which means that maybe even his birth was done under the radar just so the state wouldn't take him away. We don't know. We don't know. Now, Brian Enton has this lady here. This is a past Riverside prosecutor. Okay, she's retired. She's from the county that is now currently in charge of this investigation. So she has the most, because we can't talk to the prosecutor on this, because that would be something that the defense uses to go against the whatever rights of the client, right? The presumption of innocence. So they can't bring the prosecutor there. But Brian Enton found a retired prosecutor, which, she doesn't have the details of the case, but she would have connections, right? Because she's been a prosecutor for years in that town. So she would have somebody that would trust enough to speak to her. So she has the contacts, and she knows how that specific prosecution's office would most likely conduct their business. So out of all the people that interest me the most in what their commentary is, would be this lady right here. And I kind of like what she has to say. So we're going to kind of come back here and just listen to it. I'm going to jump around a few places here. I got to find out where I'm at.
Is there any chance that animals got there or something, and that he did show them the spot where the body was and it's just no longer there?
Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely and reasonable? Probably not, because from my understanding, what I've been reading is that they had the cadaver dogs out there. So if the dead body had been there, you would expect that the dogs would have reacted to the scent.
Okay. So that is point one that I want to make.
That's a good possibility, yes.
Okay.
What makes you think that?
That's not the one.
Himself.
And you mentioned she hasn't changed her story. There's this new interview that she gave the Orange County Register, which is kind of unusual. Maybe not in this case because she was out talking before, but here she's talking to reporters now, even from the jail. But she said, "I will not give up. I will not give up on my baby." Insisted that she had a great relationship with her husband and that he is a good dad and he would never hurt a baby. What do you make of that?
I mean, quite honestly, it begs the question, what was her relationship like with Jake? Where did that black eye come from? Was there some type of domestic violence
And we know
involved
there
between
most
her
likely is.
and Jake? And she's terrified to still, even behind bars, tell the world what happened because, you know, her husband's the culprit.
So that's the point. The other point I want to make, you know, this theory is still not off the table. And I think the other one is right back here.
A lot of forensic evidence, a lot of details, a lot of the story usually. So the fact that that is not in this case tells me that there's probably quite a lot of evidence that San Bernardino Sheriff's Department has collected, and it's significant in order to put two separate charges on two separate parents for the charge of murder with malice. It just simply means murder, and now by tomorrow morning, when both are arraigned, the district attorney's office will decide potentially which degree of murder and whether it'll be a special circumstance murder.
Do you think?
So you guys see where I'm coming from when I said that, you know, this does seem hinky. We were kind of sitting here with bated breath, but this is a past prosecutor, and she said, look, they're not going to be charging these folks with second-degree murder for pressure. You know, they would have had to had significant evidence to bring these charges forward to begin with. And now that the prosecutor has to, she didn't say he was going to waive the charges. This retired prosecutor said nothing about what we're hearing on the news. This retired prosecutor from Riverside DA's office, prosecution's office, district attorney DA's office, she's saying that they just need to decide whether they're going to go for first or second this morning. That's what their challenge is. So I want you guys to hear that again, because I think this is the missing piece and why people may be, you know, thinking that this is a lot worse than what it is. And so I'm putting a lot of weight in this prosecution's, this retired prosecutor's statements here. Does she know this for a fact? No, but I truly believe she's in the area. She has connections still, as you know, as a former prosecutor. She's still going to have all those great connections that she's made for years and years and years and being in the office. And not only that, but you garner friendships, you know, when you do this stuff, and you learn who to go to for this and who to go to for. Oh my gosh, we achieved our goal. It's been a while since we achieved our goal. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate that. You know, we do goals almost daily. We very rarely actually achieve our goal. So thank you guys. I truly do appreciate that. Does anyone know who the 16-year-old? Thank you. We do have answers on the 16-year-old. Okay. So I've done a lot of searching. We're going to go back to the prosecutor, the retired prosecutor here in just a second, but thank you for bringing it up. I will answer the question quickly. The answer is, I do believe the 16-year-old is from her prior marriage. It sounds to me, we did get some information screwed up a little bit at the beginning of her cutting off her entire family. She didn't cut off her entire family. She cut off her husband, her ex-husband, and her eldest daughter. So she still had some type of relationship with her younger daughter, but not that much. The relationship has been strained, like all of her relationships in her family, because of her relationship to Jake. Nobody in her family liked Jake. And guess what? their feelings were not wrong. They knew he was bad news. Her entire family knew this guy was bad news. Her entire family walked away from her because of how bad this guy was. It takes a lot, even an adopted mother, because, adopted parents didn't adopt you because they didn't want to love you. They adopted you because they wanted to give you a bunch of love that they couldn't give another child, typically. And so we know that Rebecca and her brother were adopted. Those are not biological brother and sister either, folks. That's what I'm finding out. Her brother James and her are not biological. They were both adopted by the same woman, and they both were raised as children. So I don't even know if we have a good assessment on Mary. Because we assessed Mary as being mom, and then we found out mom was an adopted mom, and that these two siblings that have committed these horrible crimes were actually already in the foster care system, so they could have been screwed up by their their biological families long before they got into Mary's life, which most likely happens because they're in foster care, which means that they're probably not having the best upbringing. And two of her children that she adopted ended up committing these horrible crimes. So getting back to this lady, I want you guys to hear this because she doesn't seem to be so overly concerned right now, at least at this aspect of the interview, that these people are going to be getting out. At least I'm not seeing the concern on her face that somebody screwed up, that these people are going to walk. Let's listen to what she has to say.
This is what we call a no-body homicide in Riverside. It's very unusual, let's say that, to book somebody in, two people, on a murder charge without having the body, because on a body carries a lot of forensic evidence, a lot of details, a lot of the story, usually. So the fact that that is not in this case tells me that there's probably quite a lot of evidence that San Bernardino Sheriff's Department has collected, and it's significant in order to put two separate charges on two separate parents for the charge of murder with malice. It just simply means murder, and now by tomorrow morning, when both are arraigned, the district attorney's office will decide potentially which degree of murder and whether it'll be a special circumstance murder.
So again, this is a former prosecutor. I don't see any concern in her statements here. It's not like the news is saying, oh my gosh, they're going to be walking tomorrow, right? If they don't find a body, they're going to be walking. I don't know where that is all coming from, because this is going to Riverside. She doesn't appear to have the same concerns as the news or media. So it is, where else am I going? I'm trying to remember I should have wrote these down and I didn't. I think one was at 14 minutes.
Handling the calls and the investigation.
Okay, let's go back.
Terrible. It's heinous, quite honest. And the fact that Jake Haro should have never been out of custody is more egregious.
Okay, so now we have a former prosecutor agreeing with the public.
He should have never been out of custody to do this to baby Emmanuel.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you about that in a second, but just while we're on the charges, so the DA has until 10 a.m. Tuesday to basically upgrade these charges, or kind of explain that. What's going on behind the scenes as they get ready for this 10 a.m. hearing?
Sure. So basically what happens with a homicide, typically.
Now, here's Brian Enton. You guys know how I feel. This is his report. So please go over there, show him some love, tell him thank you, put some coffee cups or bullhorns in the chat. Just show him some respect for reporting. We're all kind of in this together. Brian has always been a good guy, even though he's the cream of the crop. He rose very quickly once he got into Gabby Petito's case. When I met him, nobody knew who Brian Enton was, and just watching him, go from not being seen to everybody knowing who he is just, I don't know, it just I like he feels like a big brother to me that I'm watching just flourish, and it's just beautiful to see. So I really super appreciate him, but I can tell you that the reason why I respect Brian Enton so much is because he actually cares. These aren't just stories for him, and I think that people see that with Brian Enton. I truly do. I feel like one of the reasons why everybody, goes to Brian is because he's not just mainstream media. He is, but he isn't. He is a real person. Like, we see his real person. And I can promise you, from everything I know about this man, multiple conversations I've had with this man over the years, his heart is truly in these cases. These cases are hard for him, just like it's hard for all of us. And he does a lot of different stuff, but he always stays true to true crime. He really does. He's been on the political side of things. He's done a lot of stuff. He's covered a lot of different types of stories around this country. But he is a true crime person. He's always stayed true to these cases and being on and making sure that these cases stay front and center. So I don't know what to say other than I'm just very proud of him. Truly just proud of him.
A homicide occurs, 911 gets called, and the homicide detectives go out to the scene. At that point in time, the homicide detectives call what's called the on-call deputy district attorney for the homicide team.
This is important information because I think Strategic may have had this part missing from his assessment, potentially, because he even brought it up, like, they didn't bring the state attorney. They were supposed to have the state attorney, and she's saying that they wouldn't have skipped that process is what I'm understanding. Jen is with Seth. She wants me to ask you if she could go live from YouTube or StreamYard. Tell her to go straight from YouTube. StreamYard's a pain in the ass when you're on the road. Tell her she's going to have a better quality live stream if she just goes straight YouTube. Because she can flip her camera around. She doesn't really have anything to present other than just what's going on out there. I'd go straight YouTube. Just my personal thoughts on it. Yeah. When you're out on the road, unless, like, there's been times when I've been out on the road, I made the mistake, especially at the Kitty Dome for the Idaho 4. I was going through StreamYard and I couldn't zoom in because I was on StreamYard. When you go straight YouTube, you have a lot of functionalities you don't have on the road with StreamYard, especially from your mobile device. So, yeah. So as you guys hear, it sounds like that they wouldn't, there's no way to bypass bringing the district attorney out there.
That deputy district attorney who's on call goes out to the scene with the detectives. In this case, it doesn't seem like that happened because San Bernardino Sheriff's Department was handling the calls.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So their Riverside, okay, that scared me. So Riverside DA was not out there because San Bernardino was handling the call. So most likely San Bernardino spoke to a San Bernardino DA. That's what I'm understanding here. I don't think that they would have been able to bypass this, and I don't think that they would have wanted to. Most of these things, they know how intricate the details and the evidence has to be. And I don't see any law enforcement body on a case like this not consulting with the on-call DA. I just don't see it. Yes, Riverside's going to be the one filing charges, but I think it's the jurisdiction issues causing the problems. I don't think that these people are going to be let out of jail. I pray to God they're not going to be let out of jail. But just the way that this DA is looking at it, she doesn't seem overly concerned here. It's so far. Now we're getting through it. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? But I remember hearing that and realizing what she was saying. Riverside DA was not out there because San Bernardino had the case. So I believe San Bernardino did consult with San Bernardino DA. And I think that is maybe the missing link, because it sounded like Strategic didn't think that they did that they bypassed that. And he might have misunderstood what she's saying here. But she's speaking about the Riverside DA. And no, Riverside DA would not be out there on a San Bernardino investigation.
And the investigation. So at some point, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department would have looped in Riverside Sheriff's Police Department. Once the Riverside Sheriff's Police Department is looped in, then the District Attorney's Office becomes also looped into the investigation. It's my understanding from speaking with several of the detectives from the Riverside Sheriff's Department that Mike Hestron's office is looped into what's going on. So
she does have contacts. She said she's reached out to her contacts, and this is what she's hearing from those anonymous contacts.
Aware, they have the facts, and what's happening between now and tomorrow is a deputy district attorney has been assigned to review all the police reports, the body-worn camera, any video footage that they've collected, any forensic interview that they've collected. That deputy district attorney is writing a memo to present to Mike Hestron, who's the...
So do you guys see where this is going now? This is still not it. Do we have enough here? You know, we still... She, at the beginning of this interview, she's stating, you know, they would never have brought these charges without overwhelming amount of evidence. Overwhelming amount of evidence. They must have had a lot of evidence to not only get one charge of this murder, this malice murder, but another charge, you know, toward Rebecca. So both of them have been charged. They said, the lady said at the beginning, in case you guys missed it, and you can go back after we close out the show, that they wouldn't have been able to do that without massive amounts of evidence. Remember, they can't bring the charges. They can present the evidence. The person that executed the arrest warrants was a DA. They're the only ones that would have, at this point, in my opinion, the ability to give them the go-ahead for the arrest. Just my opinion. I don't know that to be true. Just an opinion.
The DA of Riverside County. In that meeting, there will be several individuals sitting with Mike Hestron, his chiefs, his supervisors, and also the deputy district attorney who's going to likely be assigned to that case. This memo is being prepared to basically summarize for Mike Hestron and all of his colleagues and his staff the strengths of the case, the weaknesses of the case, the prior history of both parents, their criminal history, basically all the information, summarizing it. And from there, they will collectively decide, obviously with Mike being the final say, what charges will be filed against both Jake Haro and Rebecca Haro.
So, you know, there is the possibility, everything I'm taking out of here, again, if you guys would like to see this full, which I recommend, this was really good information. I can't show all this information on my channel today, okay? So, if you want to be able to go over there and listen to this, I, again, recommend you all go over there and listen to this. This lady here has some really, really good information. And if you haven't watched this come out from Brian Enton's YouTube channel, then you're missing out because you're not going to hear the information for a couple days from me. So this is about as good as it's going to get. Lots of great information from this lady. Great interview, as always, from Brian Enton, and just great information. And I think it calmed me down because when I was reading the articles about them possibly walking, and then I see Pascal, and then I see strategic eyes, I'm getting a little, anxious too. I'm still anxious. Don't think that this settled my anxiousness because I still hear strategic eyes in the back of my head. I still hear Pascal's show in the back of my head. I still hear fat and opinionated in the back of my head. We're all just sitting here waiting with bated breath to make sure that these animals do not walk out. And if they do walk out, the explosion of people that will be out in front of their houses protesting is going to be insane. Okay? It just happens that way, folks. I'm not saying I have no part in it. Okay? But this is what happens when you screw with a baby. Okay? When you screw with a baby and you're able to sleep in your bed on your pillow, the public will not make that a comfortable process for you. Okay? Because they don't really care about your comfort. They don't even care about the neighbor's comfort. They want justice for the baby. So I think for their well-being as well as the community's well-being, they better find some way to keep these people behind bars if their case is not up there. Because I truly believe we see California. California is kind of our problem area with the protesting and violence and stuff like that. I pray to God that people don't get violent and try to say that this is some type of justice for this baby which lost his life due to violence. Okay? You either believe in violence or you don't. This channel does not believe in violence. We do not believe in taking a vigilante justice. We do not believe in any of that. What we believe in is lawful organization, lawful gathering, lawful protest, not breaking on people's property. I'm going to tell you, if I was there, I would have probably drug you off that property by your own feet. I don't play with people's stuff, and I keep my flock in gear. And that's why I don't, sometimes there's things that I can't go to because it's already out of control and I can't control it. And so, this is where, this is the community, and they're becoming out of control. What they're doing is wrong. It's going to land a lot of them in jail if they don't chill. But what they are doing, if they're encroaching on a crime scene where a little baby boy, you are wrong. And not only that, let me tell you guys something. What pissed me slap off is I saw that stroller that was on the backside of their house moved to the front to the memorial. I don't know which bonehead did that. That could have been critical evidence that they may have forgotten to collect and needed to collect later, and you just the evidence up because you decided to go on their property, take that from the back of the property to the front of the property, and now they may not even be able to use it for any type of evidence. So I don't know what bonehead did that out there at that property, but you were wrong, and if I was there, I would make sure you went to jail. I don't play. I don't play. But when I saw that stroller in the memorial piece that was put out there by the local people, the news reporter, and I saw that stroller at that memorial, it made me pissed. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? We're all trying to find this baby, but what we're not all doing is poo-pooing on the investigation of this child. Stay the hell off their property. Don't touch any more crap around that house. Quit contaminating a flippin' crime scene. You don't know if they're going to have to go back, and that kind of crap pisses me off. How dare you? How dare you? We knew that there was a possibility that was trying to go through a car wash. You don't know what evidentiary value that stroller had. And it's all lost because you chose to touch something on a crime scene you should not have touched. I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it. But that right there pissed Bullhorn Betty off. I keep telling you, there's some places I don't deserve to be. This is one of them. Because there would have been a lot of people, if I seen what I saw on that, you wouldn't have had to worry about that. I wouldn't have acted crazy like Blue Hair Girl. But you would have all went to jail. Because I would have recorded every one of you, and I would have started bringing out statutes, and I would have forced those law enforcement to take you into custody. I've done it before. I've done it before. Don't go on the property. Don't touch a damn thing. If you're doing true crime and you don't know that, hang up the hat, go back home, and watch from the TV screen. That is Bullhorn Betty's message to anybody that's going onto that property. Because if you screw up this case, because you wanted to get your click and view, we'll be coming to your house. You understand that? We'll be coming and protesting your house for what you did to this case. And I can guarantee you cannot handle the pressure. Stay off their property. Don't touch any more items on their property. You do not know if law enforcement has to go back and you are contaminating a crime scene. Control yourself. Okay. Now that I got that out of my system. We have a lot of information that is coming in. I truly believe everything I've heard may not be enough for a conviction. But I think it's enough for probable cause to keep them, to keep the charges and to keep them in jail. That is my prediction here. Now, I could be totally wrong. There are a lot of nuances that go into this, and one of those nuances is the jurisdiction. And if the new DA is as confident as the old DA, that's where we're at right now. Are they as confident as the San Bernardino, California DA? I believe they are. I'd have to think that they work together often. They're not too far from each other. They probably had multiple cases. They probably know how each other work. I'm really trying to play the tape through. I just don't see how they would have been able to get the arrest warrants without substantial evidence to get those arrest warrants. So, yeah, we're not going to be here because it's another hour away and I'm out of things to talk about. I've got a whole show for this afternoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break now. Please, if you guys have been doing true crime, what is it? Mystic? Something for the Mystic. That's Jen's channel. Does anybody have Jen's channel to throw up in the chat? My mods? Because, we need it. Jen's out there with Seth Rogers right now. It sounds like Seth Rogers is doing a single man protest in his son's, to advocate for his son. He has expressed to a lot of us his displeasure with how astrology for the mystics. Thank you. Thank you. Astrology for the Mystics. There it is. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. It's Jennifer Jennings right there. If you guys want to go there, it sounds like she's getting set up to run Seth live. We need to be supporting Seth. He's out there by himself. This was not something he called people up and said, hey, we're going to do this. He, I think, wants to take a stand against law enforcement because law enforcement is shit on him. And law enforcement is shit on his son. And law enforcement failed to do the basic investigative requirements for an abduction. They know that this child didn't walk out of the home. Hell, even Christopher Proudfoot's up here telling us, oh, he would never leave the house without his shoes. He doesn't like dirt. He doesn't like bugs. But he walked out of the house and locked the door behind him. Lie, 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 lie. I know. This is another person, like Chris hated Sebastian so much. And I could see him doing what needs to be done to save his wife. This is one where Sebastian Rogers is not one where we think the stepfather was responsible for his abduction or his unaliving, whichever it ends up being. We actually believe it was his mother, his own flesh and blood mother that gave birth to him, because she was the only one in the house with him by herself. There was nobody to stop her. There was nobody to stop her. And she's really a really messed up woman. She was AR'd by her mother when she was 5 years old. She, she was very violent to Seth. He would go to sleep and he would roll, he'd wake up with her beating on him for no reason. She's got some major psychological problems, and everybody wants to dismiss those psychological problems because she has money. And they live in almost $1 million home. But at the end of the day, where did we always want to know who was the last person to see him, who had motive, means, and opportunity. Well, it was mommy. It was mommy. But somehow in Sumner County, Tennessee, they just don't believe mommies can hurt their children. That's how stupid they are. They don't believe mommies can hurt their children, especially ones in $1 million homes. Especially ones in $1 million homes. Even though they have all the CPS reports of 5 in 14 months going to that $1 million home because of allegations of abuse. And then finally he just disappeared. But I mean, they got money, so they're treated much differently in Sumner County, especially when they have political ties and funding the politicians in that county. Seems awfully funny. Please sign the change.org petition for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is a petition to move His father wants this case moved from Sumner County. You know, Chris and Katie's best friends. He wants it moved from their friends and into either, he wants the FBI on it. That's it. He wants the FBI on. He doesn't even trust TBI because they know TBI. Chris has a friend in TBI. Okay? We're done with friendships. We're done with good old boy systems. We want results. And right now, we've been told that we're not entitled to results from Sheriff Snuggle Struggles because we're not his taxpayers. That's what he told us. That's what he told us. I want you guys to think of that. He doesn't want to talk to anybody because we're not his taxpayers. Well, then obviously his taxpayers need to stand up and speak up. And if you don't, then maybe you're part of the problem too. Because if it was your child, so wonderful. Everybody gets to, because it's not their child, right? So they don't care. Christian folks out there in Sumner County have just sat on their hands and on their butts while Sumner County has railroaded and screwed up this case, and they got nothing to say. Nothing. Nobody. And now Seth is out there finally wanting answers and demanding answers. I hope that the community out there in Sumner County goes and supports him. Because you should. Because if it was your child, I bet you he'd be there supporting you. But you know what? I've kind of lost my appetite with humanity in some of these cases. Because everybody just wants to they don't want to rock the boat. They're just fine, right? And then when it becomes their problem, they're wanting people to help them. And they're like, why isn't anybody helping me? Well, did you help somebody else? Well, no. No, I didn't. I didn't help that kid that went missing. I just didn't want to be bothered, you know. I didn't want to be attacked. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want my sheriff picking on me. I didn't want to rock the boat. I want to live my life in peace. How comfortable would you be living your life in peace if you didn't have your child? Because you know what? In Sumner County, they don't mind saying, it's not my problem. Well, you know, we gave you 8 days. You know, we'll see you later. If you find him, if you find his body, or just give us a call. We'll come out there and investigate it if you find him. But as far as we're too broke to investigate anything. That's pretty scary. They're too broke to even give Seth flyers anymore. Do you know that? That's pretty scary, that your sheriff's department is so broke they can't even afford flyers. I want you guys to comprehend that. Sumner County is so broke they can no longer afford to give Seth flyers for his missing son in their county. And I don't think that's the truth. I just think they want this case to go away. They fouled it up so bad. That if they turned it over to somebody, I think that the people would laugh them out of the state about how bad they fouled this case up. I've never heard of a sheriff not wanting positive, publicity. Every opportunity that these sheriffs have with these high-profile cases, they want to get in front of the camera to show the state and their community that they're turning over every rock. It's awfully funny that the only sheriff across America that refuses to do that is Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, Eric Craddock. He is by far one of the most corrupt and worst sheriffs I have ever seen in the history of America. Now, there may be some other ones that are associated with racism and stuff like that, and I would agree with you. But this is the most recent. I would say he's the absolute worst in America. Prove me wrong. My email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com. If you had an affair with Mr. Snuggle Struggles, if you know of him from the high school, I'm interested. I'll keep you confidential. I just want to embarrass the guy. I just want to make sure he's never sheriff and it can never destroy another family or another family's investigation like he did Sebastian Rogers. And I know he's a snake. So we just need some of the people that have the information about how much of a snake he is. I know he's hurt one of you ladies out there. Reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'd love to make some flyers for election time. I would like to have his dirty on those flyers. I mean, we already got plenty of dirt, right? Because we're going to be sending out flyers with Mr. Snuggle Struggles post and him smiling. Maybe we'll have an AI woman, where he's smacking her ass. I don't know. Maybe we'll get very provocative in the next election cycle. I'm game. Hopefully they are. We'll see. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And before you guys leave, I want to thank all of the people that participated in our goal today. It's been a really long time since we've, I know where you want to go. All right, come here. Oh, you need to get your diaper back on. Let's get your diaper back on. Come on, get up here. Come. Guys, give me just a second before we get there. Is it raining outside? Are you upset? Let's just get your diaper on. I don't want that on my legs. Yeah, there we go. Right under here. Oh, you're such a good girl. I know you hate it. You're such a good girl. There you go. Okay, we got one strap on. Let's just get the other one. We're almost done. There you go. Oh, good girl. Say hi, everybody. My mommy had to put me a diaper on. I needed my diaper. I just wanted to say hi. I'm a little whimpery today because I'm dealing with girl puppy stuff, and it doesn't make me feel good. So I'm really needy for my mommy while I go through this for the next 18 days. I'm just going to be snuggling with her, and I'm going to be a little whimpery, but please forgive me. Okay, we'll forgive you, Delilah. It's okay, honey. All right, so Melanie, hope Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Much love to you, Betty, and back at you, sweetie. Nitwit, been a while. Thank you for the super chat. We got Hot Damn says, I hope they stay in jail, and we all hope they stay in jail, without a doubt. We have Danny from the UK. It took me a little bit to realize that because I am not smarter than a 5th grader. Just not. Our beautiful Phil, also from across the pond, just gives us the bullhorn and the coffee club. Yay! We love it. We love representing. We got G1 Lover, because I'm a love machine. Just throwing some dough our way. So thank you. Stephanie says, Betty, thank you for all you do. Absolutely my pleasure. And thank you to all of my audience for all you guys do, because at the end of the day, this channel would not be as successful. None of our channels, like Pascal's, Strategic Eyes, Brian, none of these channels would be well and be doing well without all of you. So you guys need to give yourselves a round of applause as well. And of course, I kind of broke down over Brandy Neal today, and I didn't mean to, but I just wasn't expecting some of the news that we got today. And so Melanie was just saying many hugs because I was a little upset. Patty, thank you for keeping Sebastian in the spotlight. Every case that we cover will give me an opportunity to speak about Sebastian, because at the end of the day, we have to remove the stigma of stranger danger. Is there a possibility of stranger danger? Absolutely. But it is the lowest possibility. It is the lowest possibility, folks. Okay? The lowest possibility. Most people, when they go missing, they're deceased or they're hurt, it's usually by somebody they know. But all too often, sometimes our emotions override our good judgment, like in the Sebastian Rogers case. Some people believe that there's no possibility a parent could hurt a child, their child. Yet all too often, like the case we have here, all too often, it is the parents. I know. Oh. Hopefully I didn't knock my sound out. Hold on here. Let me make sure. There I am. Okay, Delilah, you're getting in the courts. Okay, you're going to have to go down. Okay. She's just getting a little antsy. Sorry, guys. Tamara, it's nice to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Our beautiful van lady. Been a while. Thank you for the lovely super chat. We got Phoenix Moons. Thank you, love. Tahara says they can be brought up on separate charges in each county. I just asked, so they could be charged, like one person could be charged in Riverside with the homicide, but San Bernardino, California may be able to charge them with the false reporting in San Bernardino. That would be interesting. I wonder how they're going to charge, two separate county cases into one. Because I'd have to think that they would have to charge them with lying to detectives in the case just to help support the case of the homicide. Because they did lie. You know what? You're bringing up, I would have to think about this. I'll have to weigh on this. Aw, thank you. You've always been family. It's nice to see you, love. Given the conflicting reports of Emmanuel's age, with parents stating he's 7 months old, and I'm questioning he may have been 7 months old at the time of the incident, would be currently 9 months old. We're getting conflicting information on his age. We've heard, just for my audience, if you didn't realize this was an issue, we've heard he was born on November 8th, then we heard it was December 8th, and now we're hearing from the grandmother that he was born on December 24th. I just find that awfully odd that we've gotten several different dates from several different family members on when this child was born. So if the child is truly 9 months old, then that would be my assessment that they most likely are saying the age of when something happened to him. If he truly was born on December 24th, then obviously just 2 days ago he would have turned 8 months old. And so he would have been 7 months at the time of his disappearance. However, I do believe that this child has been deceased since before August 1st. How much before, I don't know, but I'm kind of feeling before August 1st, personally. But I guess only time will tell. We'll get more information and we can move from there. Serenity said Justin read a statement from the ex that they have 2 girls between them. The teenagers probably from some random guy. So he's saying that he had 2 adult girls. That's where the adult girls came from then. Because I knew that there was 2 adult girls. That's what we heard. But then we're hearing reports that the 16-year-old may be his. But she may have gotten pregnant. That may be the reason why they got a divorce, back all those years ago. And why she walked away from the family is because maybe she did go out on her husband and she did have an affair, because I heard there was some violence in the home where she put a restraining order on her husband, and then all of a sudden her husband has the house, the kids, and she's gone. So it was just really, really weird. But there is a 16-year-old child that she has, and I still am trying to find out where this child came from, who's the father of this child, how often was this child around Jake, and did this child ever exhibit or witness any abuse of any of the children in their custody? That's what I would like to say. And Joanne telling me great job. I do appreciate it, guys. You guys really showed some love today. Thank you guys so very much. I do appreciate it. We're still in this kind of holding. I know a lot of people are nervous. In about 40 minutes, we're going to be getting underway with their court hearing. I don't know if it's going to be live. I pray to God it's live, but we can watch it. If it is live, I will watch it. And later this afternoon, we will break down my opinion of everything that I saw, heard, and learned. Okay. And we still have a whole mess of stuff to still go over. We still have the grandmas to discuss. I finally got some more information on both grandmas. So you're going to want to be back here this afternoon. I have not set up the live. So if you're a subscriber, go to your subscriber, go where it says subscribed, and put mine to all. You want all notifications coming to you so you don't miss good information. I'm working around the clock right now to compile as much information as possible from all social media. Okay, not just from here, not just from the news. These are people. I'm focusing on people that are boots on the ground, that are providing information, and the information they're providing, it's giving me starting points on research. It's giving me places that I can go to start digging in a little deeper. So this has been kind of really good for me to be on all these platforms and looking at all these different things. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are doing the same thing. If you find something that you think I need to see that goes into this case, please send it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. What is my email address? You see the pink name right under my face here? That's how you spell my name. So it's just this pushed together, no spaces, at Gmail. That's it. Makes it very, very easy. What's my email? It's my name. It's the name you know me as. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So please, if you have anything or you want to leak some information to me, I'm always up for leaks. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. If you would like to send me private information and you don't want to be attached to it, and you want to be fully anonymous, the best way you can do that is opening up a Proton Mail, getting a random number and sending it to me from Proton Mail. That is probably one of the best and easiest ways to leak information to Bullhorn Betty and stay fully anonymous. If you are breaking the law, I will tell you, Proton Mail will not save you. But Bullhorn Betty does have protections under the law to keep my sources confidential. And without a court order, that's exactly what I do. So I don't think you have any reason to fret. So if you have some information you would like me to have, please send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. And let's all say a prayer. We believe in the power of prayer. And right now, I truly believe that these folks are not walking out. And if I'm wrong, I'm still going to continue to manifest that in my mind, body, and soul so they don't walk out. So let's just manifest, pray. I'm confident in California, a hell of a lot more confident in California than I am in Sumner County, Tennessee. And there you go. It looks like we might be live. So let's go ahead over to Jennifer Jennings' channel to see what's going on there in Sumner County as Seth advocates for his son. Take care and